Yeah. Day 3 of the future. We're back. We're here. We're hanging out. Doing the panel thing. I haven't checked the news at all yet. Hang on.
I looked, but I didn't see much today. It's just like, is it
Let's check.
The typical, typical shit about, some people complaining about Trump and Biden and bullshit like that. There's just nothing. There hasn't been anything new. It doesn't seem like.
Wow, now they're calling for the resignation of the board members who supported Claudine Gay. They're not satisfied with just her. Apparently they're going to unseal some Epstein documents.
Yeah, that is supposed to happen, but I mean, I don't know if that's. I have a feeling they're going to be so redacted. They've got the people have already got their hands on them so much that they're going to be so redacted, and so there's going to be so little information released. I don't believe it's going to be this huge information dump that everyone thinks it's going to be.
Oh, there is this video I have on Twitter. I wanted to play. I love showing woke people at their most annoying, out of touch, and obnoxious, and so that's what this one is. Let's see what the woke are up to now. Y'all watch. Wait till y'all see this one. Oh, hang on. Gotta change my settings as usual. All right, here we go.
Quick sandwich from here, and I thought they gave me the wrong sandwich, but conveniently McDonald's changed their packaging. Wow, what does that resemble? Yeah, so what is this?
This one?
Yeah, what is this new packaging?
It's the McChicken wrapper.
But why is it blue and white?
I honestly, I don't know.
I think you do know. This is in support of Israel. They changed it.
I mean, it was like that actually since a few months ago because we ran out of the regular ones.
No, I don't think so. This is obviously in support of Israel.
No, I mean, we actually had that for a while though.
This was here 2 weeks ago and it wasn't like this.
I mean, we have had it though. We also have the red one.
I know this is not your fault because you're an employee, but I think this is disgusting for them to do this. And I know you in your heart that this is clearly what this wrapper is for.
But I mean, I didn't know that.
I'm explaining it to you. This is what it's for. This is the color of their flag. This is clearly what they're doing and what they're showing to people. And I think it's disgusting.
I don't know. I think she's wrong. I think it's clearly in support of Democrats because it's blue.
It's really not that different than some of
it's not.
assumptions and conjectures that get made right here on this stream by people either.
They're having people. I don't believe I've ever made a conjecture quite that.
I'm not pointing fingers.
Okay, I'm saying I don't think I've ever.
I'm just saying it's people that insist they know the meaning of something. I know that this means Israel. Ma'am, we've had these wrappers for months. No, I don't think so. No, I think I'm right. I think my interpretation is correct, and you don't know. And then she says the part where she says, "I know this is not your fault because you're an employee. Or you're just an employee or something." She's the awful. Like the movie we watched last night. We watched a movie called Dream Scenario. It was kind of like a horror satire on cancel culture and wokeness, and it was set in Massachusetts in kind of like the upper class. Nick Cage is a college professor. Every single woman in the movie was awful. The wife, I couldn't stand her. The daughters were awful. All the people at the school were awful. The ex-girlfriend, the people at the little agency he went to, the assistant, they were all this awful AWFL, affluent white female liberal personality. And when I talk about this culture where I am, Pacific Northwest, and how much I hate it here, it's because the women up here act exactly like the women in that movie. And they truly were awful. It was an awful, awful movie. You should see it to get a sense of, because woke culture is awful culture. It's the same culture.
But yeah,
It's highly anxious, neurotic, hypersensitive women with a lot of time on their hands and nothing else to do with it.
like Nicolas Cage plays in probably the best performance he's given in years too. It's an amazing character performance he gives. He plays this guy who just starts appearing in people's dreams. People start dreaming about him, and he's like this nobody. Like, and people all over the world are having him appear in their dreams. And at first, like the dreams are really innocuous.
Don't tell too much, because
No, I'm not. I'm just
don't
saying.
give
But,
it away.
but it turns darker from there, and it turns into this thing where people start hating him because of something that he has absolutely zero control over. I mean, he's not intentionally going anyone's dreams or anything. He has no superpowers. He's just a professor at Oxford, I think. He's a professor at
Osler.
Osler, is that what it is? Okay. As he's an evolutionary biologist, and he all he really wants to do is write a book on ants. And he just gets like, and his life just gets absolutely ruined because of this bizarre idea of like him appearing in people's dreams, and it just kind of goes like, and it goes in some directions you would expect it to. I highly recommend it being watched. And it's not like necessarily a happy. It is definitely, he said, it's a satirical horror film.
It's very like Charlie Kaufman type.
Yeah.
If you like Charlie Kaufman, you'd enjoy this.
Kaufman wouldn't go as political, but it's actually very political. It even kind of references some of the stuff that happened with like the Weinstein guy. You know, like it references. I mean, like kind of subtly kind of references that kind of stuff where like the students on the campus kind of like take over and like all this shit like that. And it's very. I don't know. I thought it was it's very of its time. It is very timely for net right now, and I do think that people should check it out. It's pretty good. I also watched, and after that, I did end up watching the rest of that South Park thing, and it was okay, but it was
I've never been able to get into South Park. I've tried so many times. I've tried on so many different types of drugs. None of it ever. It just seems like like fourth grade humor, like nothing an adult would find funny or laugh at.
Like the one, like I said, the previous special they released, I think you'd like it because it's the entire premise of it was that it was a kind of a parody on all the multiverse things they do in Disney and stuff like that. And like there was another multiverse like version of South Park where all the characters were all replaced by diverse female characters. They were all like, there was like a black, a Latino, like, it was like, and they were all like, they were all playing the basic South Park characters, and like they got like somehow like sucked into the what they call it was called the Pandaverse. And it was actually pretty funny. It actually had some kind of insightful stuff about woke stuff in it. That was pretty all right. But other than that, like it's been pretty weak last few years anyway. There was a peak of South Park where they would hit some points, some political stuff that nobody else would touch. That I think was pretty good. But yeah, it's been pretty. It hasn't been a great in a long time. But
I just can't get into it. I love Beavis and Butthead. I get their humor. I think it's very sophisticated. I don't watch The Simpsons regularly, but when I do see it, I get the humor. I appreciate it has layers of depth to it. South Park just seems like these little stupid, childish cartoon characters trying to make a kid, like a baby, laugh. Their voices and their level of humor, it doesn't seem like it's made for adults. It seems like it's made for like teenage boys. And Beavis and Butthead was geared toward teenage boys, but the humor, there was like this other meta level of humor that was directed at sophisticated adults. South Park seems to lack that. Or if it's in there, I just can't tap into it. Because the cartooniness like eclipses everything else for me.
I think you just haven't seen some of the best episodes is all, because like it's kind of few and far between. You have to find the right episodes.
There's not a single South Park clip I've ever that has made me laugh at all. Not one.
Have you ever seen the one they did where they talked the one where Tom Cruise like locks himself in Stan's closet? You seen that one? And it talks about Scientology. Like that one, or there's one about Mormonism they did. That's really, really funny. Where they literally just like give out the history of Mormonism and just like without any without any jokes on it, and and that's the funny part. Or then there's there was also one that talks about the whole Catholic Church, like the whole the like altar boy scandal there with the Catholic Church, and they had this great this great thing where like the Catholic Church, it turns out, is like they don't really worship God, they worship the great green spider. It's actually pretty funny. They're good episodes. They're just like, it's just that like they make them. The problem with South Park is what the problem they've had from the beginning is they make it really really fast. They make usually episodes, like at least they used to. They used to make the episodes like the week of right before it airs. So it would be very topical and of its time. Therefore, it didn't always have a lot of time to actually write really good.
I don't like the style. It's the voices of the characters, the look of the characters, the humor level.
Did you ever see the movie?
Yeah, I tried. You
Yeah.
think I would like it? The one with Satan in it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I watched it on mushrooms. It was stupid. Even on mushrooms, I'm sitting there like, this is stupid. This is so dumb. Like,
Yeah.
who but a child would enjoy this?
I don't know. I like that one. I like Blame Canada. I like the song in it. I mean, it's silly. It's not. It's
I
not.
think you hit on it's the silliness of it. It's just it's more silly than funny or humorous to me. It's just silly, and silly like on a very juvenile level.
Sometimes I find stuff like that funny. I don't always, but I do find just silly, absurdist humor some funny a lot of times. So I mean, I guess I'm guilty of that. I like both. Oh, my
We're
mic
getting
is too
some
low?
feedback.
Okay.
I tweaked my settings. I have it set to automatically adjust. I'm too high. Oh, actually, the settings somehow got unchecked. Is that better? Test.
Here,
I checked the box to have it automatically adjust the mic settings.
Can you hear me?
See if
Can you hear me
that
now,
helps.
Dalbus?
Because we seem it sounds the same to my ear. Chris and I sound at the same level to my
Yeah,
ear.
they
I
sound
can't
the
tell
same
how
to
it's
me.
coming off on stream. Okay, it's better for me. You still have to work on yours. Is your box
Okay.
checked?
Every time I check that automatically adjust thing, it ends up like cranking my volume way down, so I end up like not using it. But let me try this time. I'm on a different computer now, so let me see if it helps. I'll try that and see if that helps. If you guys, if you're chill,
we really don't have a sense of how it comes across.
Yeah, we can't hear it through the. I mean, I guess I could mute this and go and try to listen to you like Seth MacFarlane cartoons. I like American Dad, Family Guy. The first 2 seasons of Family Guy actually have some funny episodes in it, but because I used to have those on DVD way back in the day when DVDs were still a thing. I maybe the first 3 seasons even, but American Dad I actually like a lot. Like not all the time, but like there was like in its golden era of American Dad. I think it was whenever I can't remember who was running the show at the time. It's like this there's a name that used to like that I can't really. I think it was Nunchaka Khan or something like that. Like when she was running it, they really knew how to use the Roger character and stuff like that for some really like just. I mean, but American Dad doesn't even try to be political. It doesn't try to be smart really. It just tries to be dumb fun and like that's why I like it. I've seen it's not my favorite show ever, but I still kind of watch it for nostalgia, I guess in a way, because like it's occasionally it does make me laugh, but it has been a long time since American Dad's really made me laugh. But
I think that's my problem. I don't like dumb fun. I like intelligent fun.
I like both.
All right,
yeah,
I'm trying to pull it up on my phone.
Here, I'm gonna see if I can mute this tab and listen to what it sounds like. Well, I can't. If I mute this,
well,
yeah,
I'm pulling it up on the phone now. But they said it's okay, guys. You call in too, Jack. In fact, was there something I had to ask you about? I know you were on Paul's show.
Let me see if I can.
It seemed in the back of my mind. It seems like I had a question for you. I don't remember what it was.
When I'm listening to the YouTube stream, it sounds normal to me.
Okay, we are live. This is the first time I think I've listened to my own stream. Ooh, it's giving. You can now put people in timeout for different lengths, ranging from 10 seconds to 24 hours. That's it. You're getting a 10-second timeout, Jack. I know you look like I don't know, Dark Shadows or something, sitting there in the dark with your little vampire goatee.
Me?
All right, how do I? No, Jack was on.
Oh, Jack,
Oh.
right? Because he was on that stream. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I have to turn the volume up.
Is timeout a kink? What?
No, Jack. Yeah, I hate my voice. That's probably why I don't listen to.
Yeah,
My
I
own
know.
show.
I hate my voice too, and it's a tough thing to do whenever you try to be recorded. You try to work as being a recording artist stuff, and you have to like listen to your own tracks and stuff like that. Oh God, I hate it.
I'm a
I
voice
hate-
cell. I'm an official voice cell. I took the test, and it analyzes your voice, and it tells you what level of voice cell you were. I wasn't the worst level, but I was one of the levels of voice
I will say
cell.
I've gotten used to it, and I do hear my voice in my head a lot more like it sounds like on a recording these days than I used to. When I was younger, it would be one of those things where if I heard myself in a recording, I'd be like, I sound like that? Oh my God, how do I sound like that? And like over time of hearing myself recorded enough, my brain is adjusted more to hearing myself the way I really sound, but I still don't care for it.
Even on an answering machine, I couldn't stand my voice. Like I always let the little automated lady do the message.
Yeah. Let's see here. What about Mel Brooks humor? Yeah, well, okay. Now it depends on what
I never got into Mel. Like I love like the what is it, Zucker Brothers, Airplane, and that type of stuff, but I've never gotten into Mel Brooks humor. I get it intellectually. I get why it should be funny, but it doesn't ever make me laugh.
You don't like Blazing Saddles?
I never laughed at Blazing Saddles. Although there's the one part. Is it Madeline Kahn? I think she has a scene in Blazing Saddles that I might have smiled at. Young Frankenstein bores me to tears.
Really?
Spaceballs, I never got into. Yeah, all my friends are really into Young Frankenstein. I just almost fell asleep through it. I couldn't wait for that show.
Young Frankenstein, that's probably nostalgia for me. I remember watching Young Frankenstein with my mom when I was like 8 and stuff. So I have I still think the putting on the Ritz scene is hilarious. Like, so there's a lot of parts of it that maybe are kind of boring, but the putting on the Ritz thing is hilarious because it's just like the unexpected, like how it comes out is just so funny to me. You know? But I just think that's funny. I do like there was like what was that? I think there's some funny parts of Robin Hood Men in Tights, but for the most part. And there was one other that he did like did he do The Jerk, or was that another guy? I've always liked The Jerk. I don't think that's Mel Brooks though.
It was okay.
I think it's Carl Reiner. But yeah, there's parts of The Jerk that I think are hilarious. Like he hates these cans thing is classic to me. And I've quoted I don't need anything but this. I don't need anything but this. Oh, and also this. And like when he's leaving the house, like I don't need anything. I don't need anything from anybody. I just need. Oh, I don't need this. He's just taking all this like random crap with him. I think that is funny. But I mean, it's not my absolute it's not the stuff that makes me laugh out loud as much as it's like it's kind of like I love Mystery Science Theater 3000. I love
yeah, some of them are fine. I watched a little bit of that back when like the original series when it first came out.
Like the Mike years.
They did do a good job.
The Mike years are my favorite. I like Joel Fine too, but I don't like any of the newer ones. I don't care for. The ones they did on Netflix and stuff like that. I haven't been a fan of those, but I still listen to Riff Tracks sometimes just because like Riff Tracks is just the original MST3Ks. I've even gone to some of their live things. Well, they're not live, but they're like live you go to the theater and it's like live from somewhere else. I see, like that used to be like my go-to, and Monty Python. I'm still a huge fan of Life of Brian.
Never got into Monty Python. Oh my God, that is so painful to me.
Life of Brian is such like you're talking about intelligent humor though. That's a really really smart comedy about religion.
It's dumb to me. I don't know what. Like the only scene that's ever made me laugh at Monty Python is the After Dinner Mint guy.
I don't even remember that now. But
I haven't laughed at a single Monty Python. Like they used to play it in the dorms in college all the time, and I would just sit there and think how dumb it was.
There's that scene that like where all these people gather outside of his window and they're all asking him like tell us what to think or something like that. And he's like, just figure it out for yourselves. And yes, figure it out for ourselves. Tell us more. Like, I think that's a perfect
It's
satire
so
of religion.
staged. I think it's because it's so staged. There's this artifice to it. It's like a musical or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's very stage humor. I mean, like, I mean, I like stage humor, I guess, but um, you know, some Aqua Teen Hunger Force, absurdist stuff like some of the early Adult Swim stuff is hugely. Space Ghost Coast to Coast is my actual like.
I
That's my
love
go
Space
for comedy.
Lab, and Space Ghost, and I love Sea Lab.
Yeah, Sea
That was
Labs.
one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
did you ever see like the later stuff like Frisky Dingo
That's
and
one of-
Archer?
No, just see. In fact, I have all the Sea Labs on DVD.
Yeah, Sea Labs.
That's how much I liked it. I bought the whole collection. I had a friend that was into Archer, and I tried to watch a few episodes, but it didn't do anything for me.
Archer isn't nearly as funny. It's a lot more mainstream than And there's good Archer, but there's also a lot of like Archer that's just kind of like dumb. But well, I do like some Archer. I love Frisky Dingo was really the real follow up to Sea Lab, and it was pretty brilliant.
Pussy Dingo.
Dingo. Yeah, it's about this. It's basically like it was kind of like the proto Archer kind of thing, where it was like this. There was like this rich guy that was basically like pretending to be a superhero named Xander Cruz, but there was this evil alien guy named Killface that.
Can you spell it for me? Because I'm getting porn.
Frisky.
Risky.
Frisky. Frisky.
Frisky Dingo. Okay, not
Frisky
Pussy Dingo.
It's the name. The name means nothing. The name is pointless. Bob's Burgers. I mean, I don't mind Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers is kind of like The Simpsons is. It's kind of like a really inoffensive, kind of like occasionally funny sitcom that's animated. But I mean, and I do love anything. I love John Benjamin's voice. I love John Benjamin as he did the voice of the can of beans in Wet Hot American Summer 2, which is like one of my funniest things I've ever seen. I love that movie. But I will say that Bob's Burgers to me is very much inferior to Home Movies. Home Movies was far, and Home Movies isn't like a laugh out loud type thing. It's more like the characters and stuff like that. It's funny and it's funny. It's a lot of it's improv. It's a lot of it's improv too. It was a evolution of Dr. Katz. You know, the same kind of people made it, and I love Home Movies is a show that I actually have a lot of affection for, because I just kind of like relate to like the idea of this 8 or 9-year-old kid trying to make movies, and even though the movies are terrible, and like that's kind of like the way the show ends too, is like them like watching all their old movies and realizing they were all awful and full, and it's kind of yeah. Bob's Burgers does have a good dialogue though, man. It does. I think that Bob's Burgers got some. I love the performances. I like Gene Merriman as a comic too, and I love what's her name, the girl. I love Kristen Schaal. Kristen Schaal is one of the best avant-garde comedian. I am like her actual stand-up shows are not even like, they're anti-humor. They're not even like close to being trying to be funny. They're literally the point of her shows is to push the limits of what could even be considered funny. Which it's like one of those things. I have a real affection for anti-humor, which a lot of people just hate. They hate it whenever like
Anna Gadsby.
No, that's not anti-humor. That's just boring. Anti-humor is Space Ghost Coast to Coast to me. Like there's a famous episode called Fire, and it's the one that has Bob Costas on it. No, it's Conan O'Brien. It's Conan O'Brien. I think it's Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien's a guest. The first half of the episode, they really hyped it up. The time is like the first 30-minute episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and then it's just it's a normal episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast with interacting with Conan O'Brien, and then halfway through the 30-minute running time, and Space Ghost gets distracted by an ant that's just walking through the studio, and he follows. And then Between Two Ferns is great. The movie they did was funny too.
I saw it.
That was funny as shit. I did not expect that to translate to a movie at all. That was great. But halfway through his Conan O'Brien interview, Space Ghost gets distracted by this ant, and he starts following the ant with a magnifying glass, just following it, and he follows an ant for 15 minutes. And that's the joke, is that like, you know, they hyped up this 30-minute episode, and then like half of it's just like this Space Ghost slowly following an ant, just like he follows it all the way to like the ant's home, and he gets to the ant's home, and then the ant goes into his house, and he knocks on the door, and he's like, your son bit me and I want an answer. And like the ant, it's like this giant ant monster comes out and he's like, your son is a moron. And he runs away. That's the end of the episode. It's just.
It sounds like something that might be funny on drugs to sit there and watch for 15 minutes.
It's funny.
But
It's not.
I would think
It's not
that the
funny.
payoff is not worth the.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the point. It's like
commitment.
it's anti-humor. It's like it's the joke is in how it's intentionally not funny. It's like one of those meta irony kind of things that I don't know. I get it, but most people don't. Most people don't find anti-humor funny. Most people find it to be like boring or just like stupid. And I get it. I understand why people don't find it funny. I don't expect people to find anti-humor funny. I just get a kick out of it. I get a kick. What I get a kick out of it. It's very trollish. It's like having the balls to do that is what makes it funny. It's the fact. It's not the joke itself. Isn't like him following the ant. The joke is the fact that they did that. That they just said like yeah. It's kind of like they trolled their audience a little bit. You know, they just like the one time and Adult Swim is famous for doing stuff like that. Malero is a master of trolling his audience with stuff like that. Yeah, Colbert Report used to be very meta humor. Yeah, that's true. Chappelle Show was very
I
meta
used to
humor.
like Colbert before he.
Oh yeah, Colbert was great before he turned into
caught
whatever
the
he is now.
TDS.
The menu, I saw the menu. Well, no, like I guess right when the time it came out, and I sort of, I don't know, like it wasn't like it wasn't bad, but I didn't feel like it really sold its premise to me entirely. I didn't feel like it fully justified what it was about in a way that like made it like instantly like amazing to me. I thought there's some really funny. There's not really funny, but there's some good moments in it. Some good satirical kind of like comedy in there, but none of it made me laugh out loud. And I found the ending to be more confusing than anything. And I think it stays kind of very much like grounded in its humor or in its story for the most part. But the end of it takes this absurdist turn that just like kind of goes a little bit because I love absurdism. I find absurdism good in an absurdist context. So I don't like absurdism whenever it just causes random. That's the problem I have with like Modern Family Guy and a lot of other comedy stuff out there. It's just like the idea is just like random things happen and that's supposed to be funny.
What's the difference between that and absurdism? Because that's what absurdism looks like to me.
Absurdism like comes out. It was like Space Coast 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 is mostly absurd, not random. Where the humor comes out of the characters they create, and like it kind of goes into their psyches like enough where like these like the absurd characters, but it actually stays true to the characters and to the scenario. It just takes them to their nth degree. It takes an idea and it pushes it as far as it can go. As a random stuff is where like suddenly something random just shows up out of nowhere, and it's like, look how funny that. Wouldn't it be funny if like something just like if right now something whatever happens, it's just something like if in Family Guy like they do the cutaway thing where like he just says something that has nothing to do with anything. They do a cutaway joke of what was like the famous one where like they got pulled off the air because like Muhammad was this was like a depiction of Muhammad in it or something like that. And like if you actually saw the episode that finally got released like online, like it wasn't even a funny joke. It was literally just like Muhammad knocks on his door and he says something vaguely anti-Muslim or something like that, and it had nothing to do with the plot, has nothing to do with absurdist humor. Evolves out of whatever reality you establish, and it just takes it to its furthest degree, whereas randomness is just like I don't know, random shit happens and it's supposed to be funny. And I don't find random shit like a lot of like attempted would be like cult movies to really try to lean on like the random thing. Like I never got into, for example, like here's one that people really loved that I personally thought was really terrible, was Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, I love Napoleon Dynamite. There's
Really?
some kind of echo on your end.
There's an echo?
It's not persistent, but it shows up every now and then when you talk.
So
like,
weird.
I don't know what's making it.
Yes,
I love Napoleon Dynamite.
Really?
Because I grew up in a little like small boring town like that too, and
I did too.
Kid. And so I very much related to it.
I did too, but see, I thought like, see, to me, Napoleon Dynamite was just like a slightly.
I didn't expect to like it at all, but I really, I went out and bought it. In fact, I liked it so much. Pee-wee movies, I love.
Yeah, the Pee-wee movies.
Ralph Wizards is Ralph Bakshi. I did watch it, but I don't remember much about it, so it didn't. But I do like Fritz the Cat. I did not like the Lord of the Rings. And there's a sequel to Fritz the Cat that I just found out about that I haven't seen, but the reviews.
I didn't know
are
there was a sequel to that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think it was made by Ralph Bakshi though. The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat was made in 1974 by a different guy.
Oh, by a different guy. So if it's not original Bakshi, like who cares? Bakshi was the only reason that Fritz the Cat was worth watching in the first place, and I don't even think Fritz the Cat's that.
And he
great.
did that American Pop thing, which was kind of okay, just because I like classic rock, and it was like an homage to that.
American Pop was fun. So was the old heavy metal movie. It was kind of fun too. I mean, for what it was, it wasn't like great, but Venture Brothers. Venture Brothers, I'm a huge fan of. Not funny out loud, laugh out loud funny, but funny in terms of like the conceptual brilliance of Venture Brothers and like how it goes. And it's very absurd. It takes this absurd idea of like this world where there are like there's like a league of supervillains and there's a league of like heroes, and like how they all have like they all like get matched up as like arch nemesis and stuff like that. And it takes like it takes the idea of like, what if superheroes were in the real world to its most extreme extent. And like, because like the main guy is like he was basically Johnny Quest whenever he was a kid, and he was like this boy genius, and now he's just like this sad old man that's trying to follow in his father's footsteps, but he's not very good at it. And he has these 2 boys that are really idiots, and there's a lot of I like comedy whenever it has that undertone of like some melancholy to it. I think the melancholy is kind of necessary for creating any kind of like emotional, like even Space Ghost has that to a degree. There's even a degree of that in Space Ghost. There's a loneliness in Space Ghost, and like the fact of how much he really wants to be friends with like his like captured villain sidekicks, so like that like it's very subtle, but like there's something that you can connect to with it that you can't connect to with a lot of like randomness humor, because it doesn't actually have a character that it's based on. It's just whatever they want to do in the moment, they just do it, which is like if you do something like American Dad and you create a character like Roger, whose whole purpose is to be a chaos agent. He can just do whatever the fuck he wants, and every week he can be a different thing. That's fine, because you've established that's what he does. But whenever you have something like Family Guy, where like you have a character of Pete who is consistent sometimes, but sometimes Pete this other character.
So that echo keeps coming back.
God damn it!
I don't know what it is. It's like tripling your every few words. It triples them. 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's another one I didn't expect to like that I liked a lot. Jack, I forgot about Philip Morris until you mentioned it just now. I did see that.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I think
American Beauty I liked, but I haven't seen it since it came out, so I don't know how it would stand up today. But I do.
I loved American Beauty for years until I watched it again. Actually, I'd watched it a couple of times, and then like one day I watched it, and something about American Beauty suddenly I suddenly turned on it. I don't even know. It's something about it suddenly felt like kind of just like, I don't know. I think it's kind of insulting in a lot of ways. It's like the whole thing is so patently like, this is America. They have a red, white, and blue house. They have this it's like this whole like metaphor for America, and it's really pretentious, and really, I do think Kevin Spacey's amazing in it though, and his I think he's good in it. I think he's good.
I don't like him as an actor at all. I don't think there's any movie where he's amazing. I think he's a very mediocre actor.
I think he's good in 2 movies. I think he's good in Usual Suspects and American Beauty, and that's no. And I do like him in 7. I like him as a villain in 7. But he's barely in that.
7.
Really, it's like he's barely in it. He's just like I thought he made a very good like serial killer though. Yeah, it's a dark. It's a joke on America, but but I know it's a joke on America, but I don't think that it's a very good joke, I guess is what I'm saying. There's a long video that does a breakdown of Venture Brothers that talks about the art of failure as a concept. Yeah, it is very much, it's a show about failure, and like I think that there's something kind of beautiful about that. I love you, Philip Morris. I don't remember a lot about, but I do think that it was a good movie. 40-Year-Old Virgin, good movie. What I was gonna say about Napoleon Dynamite to me relied on a lot of randomness. Like it didn't seem like a lot of the humor came out of the characters to me. Like him riding in on the horse thing near the end of it type thing. It just seemed like it was just like absurd randomness that didn't really seem to come out of like the thing. There is one scene in Napoleon Dynamite though that I find like that I laughed my ass off at, and it was just this one scene where like the brother is going around trying to sell that Tupperware to people, right? And he goes to this one people's house, and he's like, "Go ahead, try to rip it, see if you can." And the husband picks it up and like it just is like goes like this, and he can't do it, and he just has this look of like, oh, it's like that scene makes me laugh so hard. I don't know why. That scene is so funny to me. Just the look of like utter depression on this husband's face that he couldn't rip the Tupperware. It was just like it's so funny to me. Nacho Libre.
I never did
bad.
see Nacho Libre. Is that the one with Jack Black?
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I never did see it.
That one is pure silliness in a way that like I don't like. It's just silly. All the way. Hey Chuck, how's it going, man?
Hey Chuck, what's up?
First time I've seen you on the show. I don't know if you've been on before, but it's the first time
I think I've seen you on some other panels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been on Jack's a few times and Flow.
Yeah, that's the ones that hang out.
Welcome.
I tried to get up yesterday, but we lost internet for half the day, so I couldn't.
Damn.
Oh
Get
no,
up.
you were gonna talk to us about Michael Brown. You were there for the Michael Brown commotion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was so twisted from the start. That whole thing should have never blew up like it did, because what they was reporting on the national news was not what we was getting on the local news of the
Oh,
event.
well, how did it play out locally?
Well,
That was
the
Ferguson.
yeah, he went in. Him and his buddy went in, and they were trying to steal some stuff from a convenience store or a little shop, and then they beat up the owner or something like that and left the store with the stuff. And it wasn't but a couple of minutes. The cop was in the area on another call when this call came in. So he just happened to be right there. And he reached in. The cop called him over to try to talk to him. And Michael Brown's a big dude. And he put himself inside the window of the cop car and was trying to take the cop's gun. And it went off 2 times while it was still in his holster. And then that's when they got out the car. And he told him to stop, which he did. He turned around and he charged him like a bull, like a football player. He was going to take him down. And so the cop shot at him. Shot like 12 times, and I think he only hit him 6. But that's all it took. I mean, they were pretty close to each other. And it was nothing big at the time. And then his buddy that was with him turned around and changed his story. He told the cops one thing right at the beginning. And then when the big media got in there, he switched it around about the hands up, don't shoot thing. And from there it took off. All these outside factions, troublemakers showed up. And even
the
ahead.
government report debunked the hands up, don't shoot thing. Even the government's
Yep.
own like investigation under the Obama
It
administration.
doesn't matter. It became a narrative. They did the same thing with George Floyd. It became a
Yeah.
narrative, and then reality stopped mattering at that point. There's a documentary on George Floyd. There's one on Michael Brown too, from Shelby Steele. But I watched a documentary on George Floyd, and they show the actual camera footage from the body cams of the cop, and it tells a completely different story than anything I heard in the media during 2020 and
Yeah.
the George Floyd riots. Like once I saw the footage from the camera, it all made sense, and I'm like, yes, none of this was racism.
And we had no issues as far as living there when that happened and when the trial went on. The issue came when the grand jury came out with their indictment, non-indictment of the cop that shot him. That's when all the real trouble broke out. But by
So it
then,
wasn't the fact that Michael Brown got shot. That was just an ordinary event.
yep,
And
that's an everyday occurrence up there.
but they didn't get the right decision, so they felt like justice. They didn't.
Yeah, but by that
Justice
point in
deferred.
time, all these outside agencies had moved in and set up shop.
BLM and such.
We saw local footage of U-Haul trailers that were on the crowds area, that they opened it up and was pulling out all these pre-made signs, bricks, rocks, torches out of a U-Haul trailer before the decision came out.
Oh,
And
so it was activists like got involved, and
yes,
Well, like, but
Saw an
professional
opportunity.
activists, like there was there was
yes,
funding behind it. Yeah.
and
No,
even
it-
the
that-
local news was showing these buses from out of town showing up, bringing these people in
yeah.
to fill the crowd.
I mean, even Occupy was even though it started as a slightly grassroots thing, it got co-opted by this company called Adbusters, where they came in and gave them all these like organization activist rules and stuff like that, and kind of organized them into like the ineffectual groups they became, and then they just left. And it was supposed to be like this satirical this satirical anti-establishment like organization called Adbusters, and they actually went in and fucked it up. It was almost like they intentionally went in and destroyed like whatever could have been pure about that. I'm not a huge Occupy fan, but I'm saying that there is a lot of these things. I mean, and it's documented. This isn't like conspiracy theory. This is stuff that's been reported many times. The Adbusters guys admitted to it. They actually talked about it on the record. So, I mean, it's there's a lot of this stuff that's like that people think like, oh, that's a conspiracy, but like it's like the people that they're being accused of it did it. They said they did it. So it's weird.
well, Occupy didn't need help. They were gonna fuck it up all on their own.
Yeah, they might have, and but it probably just would have fizzled out. To be honest, it probably
Was
just would have
that
fizzled out.
Occupy Wall Street you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Occupy Wall Street probably just would have fizzled out if not for the Adbusters people going in and creating this narrative that they did, and they also created all those stupid rules and helped them like create their list of like we all want a pony kind of demands. And whenever they were like demanding $25 minimum wages and stuff like that, that just wasn't even like in that time period wasn't even like it was so pie in the sky that it wasn't even remotely realistic. And told them to like that they couldn't back down on anything, that they had to like stay strong to like what their demands were and all this stuff like that, and like that they just like they completely collapsed the entire any chance they had, because they had the attention of the whole country at the time, and they might have
They had no
something done.
agenda then of their own. If Adbusters could come in
No,
that
they didn't.
easily, and
Oh yeah, they were very easily manipulated people. They really were. A lot of activists.
so they were there for the activism, but not activism in the name of anything in particular.
Yeah, they did not. All they knew is that they were angry, and they were there to just kind of stand there and occupy the street just to get attention. And then this other company came in and used it for their own purposes, to dismantle it. I don't know what their version of it is, that they were trying to help solidify it into a real movement, but every bit of advice they gave them was like anti-productive. So it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying that they didn't have good intentions when they went down there, but they did go down
Oh, I
there.
thought you said they admitted on record that they did it.
They did it. They admitted on record that they went and did it. They did not admit their
But
motivation.
they didn't say
for it.
it was to sabotage them.
Yeah, they didn't say it was to sabotage it, but they did admit that they did that. And like regardless, the effect is that it sabotaged it. So,
Well, that's like,
I mean, I see that
Go
kind of
ahead.
stuff a lot. No, I've just seen a lot of that stuff with these activist movements, George Floyd and Michael Brown. And the thing is, like, there is police brutality. There are cases where like that. I can't remember what was the guy's name that like when selling he was like selling like individual cigarettes outside of a gas station or something like that. And the
New
cops
York.
yeah, the cops just beat the shit out of the guy. It's all on camera and stuff like that, and nothing happened to any of
Garner?
those people. Yeah,
Is
Garner.
that his name? Garner?
Yeah, and there was no protest or anything about him, and that was clearly actually fucked up. Like there's video that shows the whole thing, and like there is no justification for what happened, and yet nobody really gave a fuck about that. Like it's just the ones that it was just because I think it was an older guy, it wasn't like some young black man that they could like say like he was cut down the prime of his life type thing. So he didn't fit the narrative that they wanted to put
George
forth.
Floyd
So like
was older. Jack, you think everything is social engineering? What is engineering about? You talking about the act? I wouldn't see. I think I'm starting to understand that you're using the word social engineering different than I would. But the activists take events and they figure out how to exploit them for their own purposes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think somebody's behind the activists, like they're secret Illuminati puppets,
I don't think so necessarily.
manipulating the activist into doing this?
I think
Probably.
part of it, I honestly
I don't think
believe
so, but Jack
the
would probably
CIA. I think the CIA myself, not to be a
What makes you think
conspiracy.
that?
Even though there's no direct connection, you can't deny the fact that the CIA has done things like this before. So
That's what
But
I'm
talking about
saying.
these specific things. What would be the motive of the CIA to sabotage?
Well,
to-
the CIA could give their tactics to, say, the FBI, because legally the CIA can't act within the United States.
but they do
So-
anyway.
If they pass it off to the FBI, well, then FBI can do things.
And there is proof that there were FBI agents in some of like the BLM. There's been like some admitted case of that. But I mean, like it's not. I don't think that. I mean, like yeah. What's the purpose of it? It makes a lot of sense. Like it's like there's a fomenting of some sense of revolution. You're trying to quell that because you're trying to either push it further so that it creates more chaos, or you're trying to kill it.
Why
so
would
that
the
it doesn't-
FBI want to create chaos in the country it's supposed to defend and maintain
Well, I think
order?
what they're trying to do is tear whatever movement there is apart, is what I think. And then it backfires. It doesn't go the way they think it would have by infiltrating these outfits, thinking they can sabotage their cause. Thereby, if
I
you
feel like
sabotage
if that's
it,
all they're
it'll go
trying to
away.
do, I feel like I could sabotage them way better. They almost sabotage themselves. It doesn't take much. Anybody that wanted to go sabotage BLM in 2020 could probably easily have done it.
Well, they self-destructed anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know why the FBI is wasting their time on these movements that are going to implode on their own. All they have to do is give them a little push here and there, but they don't have to spend all these resources
Well, did you hear?
infiltrating and doing these operations.
Did you hear Flow State's story about being
The
part
Proud
of the
Boys?
in
Yeah.
Kansas,
Yeah,
and
went up to
the
DC.
guy was driving hordes of people from Kansas to Washington D.C. for January 6th was actually working for the feds.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah,
that's on
what Flo
record.
said.
That is on record. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is truly on
Oh,
record.
right. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Well,
Flo said
when you
it's-
say on record, where on record? What?
It's
record?
in part. It's in part of the court documents. It's been like 2 months now since that came out, but I'd have to
Well,
go back and look for it. Let me see if I can
Flo's
pull it
got-
up. If it hasn't been
Flo,
redacted. by now.
Flo's got the footage of the driver that was when he was interviewed by the feds that stated what part his was in it. But he hasn't played it yet. But he got a hold of the footage somehow.
Yeah, how does
Oh.
that maintain the status quo? That's kind of my question. Why, if their job is to maintain the status quo,
Well, if they're
why are they-
acceleration,
why-
if
how
they're
does fomenting unrest contribute
if
to
they're-
that?
It depends on if they're accelerationists or not. If some of these people are
What,
accelerationists,
you think
they
the
do-
FBI are accelerationists, and you think they're
I think
acting
they're-
independently?
I think there's people in the FBI that are acceleration. The FBI
and
is not
so
a
on their
monolith.
own, like I'm an accelerationist, regardless of what my stated job duties are. I'm going to go run this operation and accelerate things.
Well,
They
look
have
what
a degree
happened
of
There's
with
many different
independence.
wings of the FBI. There's many different wings of the FBI that have.
So there's
different
actual
agendas.
wing. It's not even individuals. There's a whole wing of the FBI that's accelerationist.
I don't know that for sure, but I'm saying like, but
That's
it,
what I'm
it
saying.
does
I'm
make
trying to
sense.
separate. You know what I do on the show? I try to separate.
And you're right. And you're
conjecture
right to do it.
from
And you're right to do it.
reality.
Which is why I'm looking up. Which is why I'm looking up the thing that I
I mean,
looking at the
look,
thing that
look,
I read back
look,
a while back.
look at the origins of the Trump Russiagate thing. It started off with one person and snowballed into what it turned into.
Come on and tell us about it, Paul. It started with what, the Steele dossier, and there was maybe Cambridge Analytica.
Well, yeah, but it was the dossier that was turned over to the one agent in the FBI who
I
then
can't tell if Paul is being a subversive troll right now too, or if he really means this. He's typing in all caps, so I'm gonna pretend he's
all
being his
caps.
normal ironic self.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
to
sorry.
see you, by the way.
I found one of the articles that I had read back
Hey,
then, and
Destroyer.
it's behind a freaking paywall. So let me see if I can find another
Like
way to get to it.
we've already jumped. We're on like 5 different topics at once right now.
I'm
and
telling
so,
you.
I'm
It's
sorry.
like
I'm not trying to do that. I was just like, but
all
you
of them
asked me
seem
for
all of
proof,
them
and I
seem
just
to
wanted go
revolve
do it.
around some kind of conspiracy behind them. So
I'm talking about stuff that was
what
reported
does he
on
want to
in the
accelerate other
hearings.
than authoritarianism? What when you say the deep state, what are people talking about when they talk about the deep state? Like there's actual branches of our government that are
that
officially
would be the bureaucrats that aren't elected in position, not the ones you see on
but aren't
television all the
they
time.
accountable to the elected officials? Like isn't there some accountability mechanism even on the bureaucrats
Yes,
that would keep them from
It-
having the status of an independent state?
but they have to. Whoever's in charge has to enforce that policy.
Yeah, or yes, are the people like whatever the people can hold them accountable too. I used to be an ombuds. That was one mechanism. But I'm also thinking of things like university campuses where the people in charge somehow were not able to stop the bureaucracy from entrenching itself and eventually capitulated to the bureaucracy, even though they were higher in the hierarchy than the bureaucracy and were charged with the administrative and operational duties above and beyond the bureaucracy. Somehow the bureaucracy still was able to usurp that power and that role from them. So I know it does happen. And universities, especially private ones, seem less accountable to the public than something like a government, like a county or a city, like City Hall or a county agency.
I mean, like I know that I mean in terms of like the just I since we moved on, I'm just saying, but like I could pull up they were all behind paywalls, but the articles I pulled up, like there was about earlier this year there were 3 FBI agents that had their security clearances revoked and put on permanent probation because of the fact that because they were involved in January 6th.
So they weren't supposed to be, like they weren't there as
supposed.
part of their FBI duties. They were independent.
Am I in the FBI? I've applied, because I need a job, but like they won't return my calls. I try to dress for the job I want, and that's what I'm going for. I want to become a Fed, and so like I'm wearing the sunglasses mostly because I put up a light setup and it's very bright, and if I don't wear the sunglasses, it actually hurts my eyes.
Yeah, so that's exactly what a mole would say.
I was arrested by the FBI once.
You were?
Yeah.
For what? How did that happen?
It's a weird story. My brother was in the Navy. He was in the nuclear submarine department. Well, he decided he didn't want to play Navy no more, and he came home. But unbeknownst to us, he was AWOL. Well, he had brought home this Marine uniform for me, a complete Marine uniform. So being a kid of 16, 17 years old, I put it on and thought I was the cock of the block, I was going to go out. Well, I'm out walking around the neighborhood. I get back home and these 2 fine-looking fellas dressed in black snatched me up.
You were like on the sidewalk and they just stopped and grabbed you?
Yep.
They're like, he's too young to be in the military. We get him.
No.
Damn.
They thought I was my brother.
Oh, and he was AWOL.
Yeah, from the nuclear program of the Navy.
So it's not like we're wearing the uniform police.
They saw the uniform. They knew they was looking for a military person. We look a lot alike. And it was like, snatched me up, and they took me to their little building.
What was their
Went
little
through the
building?
over in St. Louis, the federal building.
Oh,
Went in there and gave them the whole story. Then they realized, okay, this guy's telling the truth. They brought me back home. But by then, my brother had seen what had happened, and he hauled ass. He left immediately because he knew they was after him.
did they
Did
ever catch him?
he escape to Mexico or Canada or something? Like, what did he
They
do?
caught him. They caught him down in Alabama with a
Yeah, the house
wig
always
on
wins.
and a sawed-off shotgun.
A wig, like a man wig or
Yeah.
like a drag wig?
Yeah, man wig. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
trying to disguise his identity.
Damn, what? He must have really hated that. He must have really hated being in the military to go that far. There must have been some dark shit going on.
He
I
got
can't
into.
imagine going that much trouble to
That
get
is
to
such
go
a good
to go
story.
AWOL.
He discovered drugs.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
discovered drugs. What does that mean?
Yeah. That means he found something that he really liked, and it took him to a deep, dark spot.
Ah, I see. Okay, I got
that's
you.
how he ended up going AWOL.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, he had smoked weed in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, but he had quit before he even went into the Navy. But then he got a hold of some hard stuff in the Navy that he really, really liked, and that was all she wrote.
Oh, and hey, Paul, while you're in the chat, man, I just want to let you know, like, I'm working on this project here locally in Dallas, and I really want to set up a time, a time. I'll email you or something, but I want to set up a Discord meeting with you where I can just like a 30 minutes to an hour of your time. I want to pitch something to you and see what you think, because
Yeah.
I think that I think it would be really, I think it would be really cool, like a thing for, for your channel, for our channel, for everything. It's going to be it's a live thing I want to do. So
We're taking streaming to the next level.
yeah, we're taking streaming back. We're de-evolving it from being online to being back in person or something. No, that's not that. It's gonna be it's a little bit more. It's more comedy based than that. But it's something I'm writing out right now. I'm still working on working out some of the kinks. But still, please just look out for my email. I want you to know. Now, I'm not pitching it now because I don't want it on stream. I want it to be a surprise. So I'm not pitching it on stream because it needs to be a surprise for the people that actually go to it. So I mean, I don't want to. Fed man.
I think that's a good call. Well,
We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff in the works right now. A lot of stuff in the pipeline that I'm not talking about because, like, I don't want to either A, get people's hopes up about it, or B, or B, create false expectations, or C, ruin it. So I'm trying to keep. I want to talk about it all because I get really excited about talking about this stuff. But I'm keeping I'm really, like, using my best self control to try to
If you
keep
give
myself.
out too much, somebody else will run with it.
yeah, you're right. Well, I
Yeah,
think we
that's true.
give out way too many ideas on here.
I don't necessarily mind that to a degree. I don't necessarily mind.
Of course, no
somebody
one's
copies
run
me
with it
because
yet.
I know I can do
haven't
it
seen
better.
any of them implemented, including us, but
Yeah,
they're coming, folks.
we're working on it. I don't know what happened to Lib, man. I've tried to contact him like 4 or 5 times, and he's been AWOL. So I don't know where. I don't know if he's okay or something. I'm kind of worried about him at this point because
Maybe
he's
the
never
start-
like he's usually at least, like, whenever I've just messaged him seeing what's up, he's usually been like, oh yeah, I've been busy or something. He hasn't even, like, responded to, like, a hey, what's up, man message for, like, the last couple of weeks. So I am a little concerned about him, but yeah.
Well, I know he started that new job, but
That is
people
true.
come and go. I found that's.
I know, but still, like, but that's kind of part of community management, is trying to hold it all
I
together.
know. Yeah, I know. It's like making like how do you stabilize attachments when you make them? Because attachments are going to naturally happen. But if everything's so chaotic,
And yeah,
what's the value of
and
attachment?
sometimes people get offended or pissed off or something, and instead of confronting it, they'll just disappear. I mean, it
I
happens
don't
sometimes.
like to make those assumptions if I don't have a reason to.
I'm not assuming that about anyone. I'm
I
saying it just
assume
happened.
my assumption is everybody's going to get offended at this stream at one point or another. There's if you watch stream long enough, somebody's going to get offended.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
That's any
I-
stream.
So if people are seeing something on here and getting offended and leaving, I just kind of build that into the.
The only
Right.
thing I've ever gotten offended of on a stream, it's not offended, it's not an offense. I get annoyed whenever whenever streamers like let on like trolls that just like take
Yeah,
over
me
the
too. It's
thing.
not offense,
That's the
but I
that's the
definitely
only
it
thing that's
definitely
not
does
offense.
drive me away from the stream.
But people can call me names, they can like make fun of my face, my family, whatever. I mean, even stuff that like I generally I feel like almost should piss me off more. I just let it roll off my back. I don't take any of it personally, but and I do that in real life too. I mean, like I get butthurt about certain things, but only whenever I have no idea where it's coming from. You know, it's like if I say something and I get pushback for it, like I'm like, yeah, you know, that happens. But there's sometimes some things happen. I'm just like, what did I even do? You know, like wait, like no one will tell me what I did wrong, and I hate that. At least tell me what I
You
did
didn't
wrong.
do anything wrong. If you didn't intentionally do something wrong, then you didn't do anything wrong. That's their own
Yeah,
subjective
that's true.
experience of you.
That's true.
But we're also
Right.
from Gen X. Like we were from the generation before all of the helicopter parenting that created the I'm offended generation.
That's true. I mean, I must admit, I was one of those kids that spent like hours and hours every night out on my bike until like after the sun went down, just doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do, like with friends or whatever, just riding my bike around, stuff like that. That's stuff that you would not see these days, you know. So
Yeah, like nobody cared if you were offended growing up. Like so,
No.
like,
I mean, yeah.
I'm offended wasn't even a thing because nobody would even care. They would just look at you and say, "So."
And if they were offended, you know, exactly. If someone did get offended, it'd be like, well, you know, that's just anything. It can be offensive
want
when
us to do about
it's
it?
just like that Jordan Peterson did. That's his best moment ever. Was that early interview when he had that gotcha moment with like Kathy Newman.
That
You
white
know,
lady, Kathy Newman.
yeah. Whenever she's like, what gives you the right to offend people? He's like, well, things you're saying to me are really offensive right now. What gives you the right? She was just like, she had zero. He's like, I kind of got you there, didn't I? And she's like, yeah, you did.
Do you think Jordan Peterson sold out by going to the Daily Wire?
I don't know. He might have been replaced by a clone or something at this point.
I don't know him well enough to know, but sold out in what way? Because I have heard that argument.
Well, I
And
meant
even Paul himself has made it.
he was independent on his convictions for as far back as I can remember. Then all of a sudden, he's now on the Daily Wire promoting things.
But
Well, I mean,
didn't the
his
Daily
podcasts
Wire
are still
split
fine.
over the Israel-Palestine thing? Wasn't there some dissension within the Daily Wire recently?
Yeah,
like
I think so.
Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro or somebody?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro have been at odds about Israel. Yeah, Candace Owens is on the
I've
Palestinian
seen this
side.
happen in so many communities where an issue will come up and split that happened in Israel did that to our community. Like half of them were pro-Palestine and half like people like me were pro-Israel. And we argued and fought about it for weeks.
Well, I can't figure
I think it's a
out.
credit to us that it didn't split the community. We were able to have those conversations and still maintain the community. But I have seen other communities come and split when a certain issue that they don't see coming hits it, and people realize that they don't all have the same values.
Yeah, I mean, like it does. I mean, although I find like I think it's a silly one to get too hung up on, but at the same time, yeah, I see it. I don't care.
I watched BLM do that during 2020. Like
it doesn't bother me if someone's pro-Palestine.
Groups.
I mean, I don't agree with it, but it doesn't bother me if someone's pro-Palestine. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I can see the points on both sides.
I'm not going to stop being friends with anybody over their position on
Mm-mm.
Israel or Palestine, even if I disagree with them.
I mean, someone's position would have to be to the degree of like their position was that they wanted to murder and eat my family, like and then that's the time that you have to cut ties, right? Like,
Yeah.
so if someone's being what has the intention of being a destructive presence in your life, then I'll cut ties with that person. But over in a political opinion, I don't care. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you vote for Biden or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I mean, if I have a connection with you over other things, I'm not going to count like a political opinion as being like or like opinion about movies or something stupid like that. I've known people that I've known friends that stopped talking to each other because they had different opinions on like I don't know, like some movie like or some piece of music or something like that. Like they no longer were a fan of this band or something like that. Like, they just stopped talking to each other for it. I always thought that was so stupid. It's just like, what's wrong with having different opinions? Like, we can all like different things. It's okay. You can still,
Politics is like that these days.
yeah.
It's horrible.
And
you
social
can't have
media makes it even worse. And
Yeah, you
friendship
can't even
is so
have
rare.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, friendship is so rare and precarious. Anyway, it takes a lot for me to cut a person out of my life over something stupid. Like, mainly it's when they fuck me over or they get on my nerves really badly. I just can't stand being around them anymore. Like, that's basically the two things that will cause me to cut off a friendship. But beliefs and opinions and what they think or feel about things is nothing I would end a friendship over.
Yeah, if they're intentionally grading you all the time, that's, if they're doing it intentionally, knowing that they're just trying to cause disagreements all the time, well, that's not much of a friendship.
I can say that I've intentionally cut someone in my life twice in my whole life, that I've actually gone out of the way to be like, this is like actually ended a friendship and said like this was that I was done. I could no longer be friends with them. And that was like this girl that used to live here that was telling people around town that I was like trafficking children and stuff because she was crazy.
Oh Lord.
And like that was like, I was like, you're literally going to like, you're going to make it impossible for me to like support my, you're actually going to like, have like fed
Snafu's
my house.
going to cook that now and run with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can if they want to. Yeah, they want to. I mean, like they won't find. I mean, like I'm if I'm a child trafficker, I'm the poorest one there is because like I have no money, so I don't know what the fuck I'm doing it for because I'm not doing well. And the other person was a guy I was good friends with that really randomly I was staying at his house and I didn't have like a ton of stuff there or anything, but I had like a mattress and some of my things staying there and out of nowhere, just like one day he was like, yeah, I need you out of here tomorrow. And I was like, dude, I can't I have no way to get myself out of tomorrow. You're like, give me at least a few days. If you really need me out, I'll do it. Like, can we work something out? And he was like, no, tomorrow. That's it. And I was like, dude, if you do this, like, I like, we're done. I can't be friends with someone who treat me like garbage like that. And he was like, well, if that's the way it is. And then like, I found a way to get myself out of there the next day. And, and as I was leaving, he was like, man, we don't really have to stop being friends or anything because of this. And I was like, yeah, we do. And like, that was the last time I talked to him. But that's the only 2 times I've ever done that. I mean, like, and it takes that kind of an extreme thing where someone like a personal attack kind of thing is the only thing that because that's someone who does not care about your well-being at all, even as just a basic human being. Like that.
What's that last comment mean, Jeff?
The one from Jack.
Oh, because he's working with it's because like it's talking about Jordan Peterson. I think he was talking about how because he's working with the Jays, the Jews.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got you now. I didn't know if he was talking about you or what he was talking about there for a minute.
No, he was talking about when you're talking about Jordan Peterson. He made that comment. You were saying like you weren't sure what the deal was, but yeah, it's because
because Ben Shapiro is a J.
Yeah,
Matt Walsh is a C. What is Candace Owens?
Well, but it's not just that. It's that like Peterson had like that sit down interview with Shapiro and Netanyahu and kind of kissed Netanyahu's ass, and like that turned a lot of people against him because they felt like he was like.
Well, people are still tribal. As sophisticated and civilized as we try to pretend like we are, we're still tribal creatures. I see it on these streams all the time, even from the highly intelligent among us.
Is there any highly intelligent on YouTube?
Well, there's a few that they have blind spots like all of us, but there are a few that have impressed me as of high intelligence. P.F. Young being one of them.
Yeah, I was just being facetious.
Well, no, but I respect anybody. If someone has a blind spot and they're constantly trying to find those blind spots and trying to correct them, I have all respect for that. You know, I don't mind somebody that has a blind spot whenever they're aware that they could be wrong about something and they're willing to learn and change their opinion. I have zero issue with that. I mean, I have zero issue with, even if they do have those blind spots in general, I'll still be friends with them. But in terms of like respect for, from an intellectual standpoint, like as long as that person is open to learning, is they're open to like changing their opinion or whatever to when new facts come in, like because that's what I do. I know I have blind spots and like I'm constantly looking for those and trying to correct them. I don't want to be someone who's so ideological captured by some idea that I can't see the forest for the trees kind of thing.
Yeah. Being prejudiced on certain views can cause blind spots also.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, like, this is why we invite on people like Lib and stuff like that, and like he has very, very diametrically opposed views, but I still can find common ground.
He definitely has opened my mind about a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely.
I would not have been open to before.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like influence or something like where someone's just like influencing you. You actually take in the information they give you and you think about it and you're like, okay, I can see their point anyway. And like if as long as like I can like see their point, even if I don't agree with it, I can respect that because I can respect like where they're coming from, even though it may not be where I'm coming from. I can respect it. I can respect them as a person, and so I mean that's how I see all intellectual type people. If you're someone who's actually is a thinking person, and you're not like some NPC that just like follows talking points, then you're going to be like constantly seeking new information. You want opposing viewpoints to come on and talk to you and explain their point of view so that you can figure out like maybe they have a point, maybe they don't, maybe they're wrong, but maybe they have like a good justification for why they think that way, and like those are the kind of things that I can those are the kind of people that I can become more than just acquaintances with. I can become good friends with anybody that I can have an open dialogue with, that we can both like respect each other's point of view. But anybody but if I'm talking to somebody that doesn't have that kind of that you're willing to listen to their point of view, but then when you give them yours, they just start yelling at you and telling you how wrong you are and stuff like that. Then that kind of like cuts off like the once it's not a two-way street anymore, it becomes it becomes kind of intolerable. But I mean that doesn't mean like I'll cut off all communication with them. It just means like I can't engage with them in the same way I could engage with someone else, But yeah, I mean that's what the stream's all about, though. The stream is all about it coming up with talking to different people from different viewpoints and different different ideas and stuff like that, and trying to expand the conversation and the network of the community of people that just that have the independent thing. Hey Hank, how's it going, man?
Keep going.
Speaking of,
and now we're talking to machines. We have machines to talk to now. I've been working. I've been having the time of my life with this AI. I've been creating different characters to talk to, and you can have conversations. You can create all these different types of people and have conversations with it. In fact, I want to have a Socratic dialogue with Socrates on here.
Oh, I don't need mechanical assistance to do that, so I don't generally use machines. It is another layer of programming. Unless I need them to persist, so I can do a show. I don't bother to use AI to assist with that. I can do just with my
I'm sure getting in charge of it. And the machine is lying in the best way.
But yeah, Chris, I generally don't. I actually kind of like when people just yell at me, because at least I want to see the emotions. I can't. Maybe your logic's bad, but I want to feel their emotions. So maybe that's stuff to live up to.
Oh, and you can't do that with a machine. Sometimes people can imagine. It's like inferred emotions through text, because people.
I said
all the time when I'm not.
He's talking about what I was talking
about. I thought about something different. I was
he's responding what I was saying. He's like what I was saying about people and having conversations with them. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Hank. I mean, I get, and once again, like I see your point. I do think there's a validity in that. It just for me personally, it shuts it down to a point where like I see very little like value in continuing, at least with that conversation about that topic, if like they're so emotional about it that they can't even interpret what I'm saying and try to take that in and try to understand my viewpoint.
I don't ever expect people to be able to do that. I don't hold that against people.
Well, I
really
see lots of value because that means
It's nice when they can, but it's not a requirement for me
Yeah.
for friendship.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
see
not
a
a
People
lot
are
of
free
value.
to be
friendship. It's a
wrong.
requirement for
They
me to
can
talk
be
to
as
them about
wrong
that
as they
issue.
want.
Yeah, I see a lot of value in it because that means that means I can program them. If they can react this way emotionally and they don't think through anything, that means they're open for programming.
Who have you successfully programmed that we know?
Officer
If you
Tarek and
want,
Officer
if you want to
Snaps.
admit. Oh,
Yeah,
well, that okay. Anybody above anybody at any higher tier?
You
than
program
that?
Snafu
I'm
Snaps? I don't even know him, but
Snafu
I've heard about
Snaps.
him.
I call him Officer
He's
Snaps.
worse than Todd. He is like the worst. He's worse than Tornado. He is
but
the
in-
lowest bottom tier troll you could find.
In Snafu's defense,
I'm
I
lucky.
think
I've
he
never
might
done
have a traumatic brain injury.
Oh.
Well, he
it is
blew his
possible. It could also be on
half
the
his head
spectrum.
off. He blew
Oh,
half his
God.
head off making drugs in a hotel. The room blew up.
Oh,
Shit.
Really?
Shit, I didn't
know that.
I mean, I don't
Seems
know him
like
at
he's
all,
in
but-
control of himself, but he also seems like a child.
Yeah, pretty much. His
Like
head's
he has
still
the-
on there when he flashes his camera on for a couple of
Right.
seconds.
He comes
His head
on
looks okay.
stream and just yells at people like a little kid.
Yeah.
Like
And
Jack
says
Talcott
nothing.
had him the other day, and he's like, "Are you here, Snafu?" "I'm here reporting for duty, sir. Officer Snafu reporting for duty." And Jack's like, "Snafu, you don't have to say. Can you just like check in
Just
like
be a
normal
person. Yeah.
I'm here, sir, reporting for duty, sir, Snafu, Officer Snafu," like that type of stuff. Just really childish.
Yeah, he might really have a traumatic brain injury. That's actually possible. You know, if he's that kind of like that level of disconnected from reality. I mean,
And he's obsessed with pedos. He's the one that goes around accusing everybody of PDF this.
Oh
and
Lord,
PDF that.
yes.
I can't.
That's why I said
teased
that
me.
safety little comment that you made, and he's gonna. He
Yeah.
tried to get Talcott's stream shut down, and then he shows up on Talcott's stream, admitting like, "I've reported you. YouTube's gonna shut you down because of my report," and then he still tries to come on every day on the stream that he's trying to get shut down.
He did the same thing to Paul. He got one of Paul's streams taken down
Paul
and then
Enslaved.
showed up.
Yes, Paul
Yeah.
Enslaved.
He did the same thing to Illuma Tommy. Got one of his streams down
Well-
and then come back and said I did it. I don't know what he's looking for. Accolades?
Attention. He's looking for what every troll looks for. Attention. That's how they feed their ego and they get their narcissistic supply.
I mean, unless he's actually mentally unstable enough where he believes that stuff, it's possible. I mean,
Well, you got a pretty big troll sitting here on screen.
Is it
Yeah,
me?
I know. He's one of our favorite
Hank.
trolls. He and Joshua Jones. Those are our two resident trolls that we keep
Yeah.
around.
Yeah,
It-
I'd say Paul's my daddy, but really Jeff. He's the one that got me doing
Is
streams.
Joshua Jones the State Department guy?
Mhm.
Yeah, Reverend Josh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I call him, Reverend Josh.
The real Fed among us.
yeah, he's a real fed. I just volunteer. I'm just a volunteer fed. You know, I'm an intern. They don't pay me, so that's why
Yeah, that's why I'm growing this beard so I can go undercover on my next
Yeah,
assignment.
I could never get hired on with the feds. Like I've done too many drugs in the past. Like
Yeah, I don't think they'd hire me either.
Who knows if they hire me? Maybe I'm on their payroll now, but right now I'm doing logistics. So
I feel like we
Depends on
know because
logistics,
he's so
it's possible.
transparent about everything. Or maybe that's just a credit to your skill.
Now the one that scares
if I suddenly start defending the military-industrial complex and I suddenly am in a much nicer place with nicer things, then you can feel free to start calling me a fed. You know, I'll probably own up to it anyway. So
I will.
I'm a pretty
the
open
one
book,
the one
so.
that scares me is Tarek.
Officer Tarek,
What's up with him? Because every time I've seen him, he seems very well behaved and he doesn't seem trollish. But people keep warning me about Tarek.
Well, I
he's
heard-
a good
They
cop.
say
to
he's not a
Officer Snap's
troll.
bad
He's an instigator, is what he is.
cop. Yeah, he's an instigator. He's the good cop to Officer Snap's bad cop.
What kind of stuff does he do?
But he
Oh.
he said one time, this is what makes me question things, that he got picked up by the feds recently. And going through a bunch of crap with them. And then he said he was talking about being involved in this chat program from a group out of Lebanon, and that it's the people that's in that group, let's say, aren't good people. So he said he was going to remove himself from that group because of all this trouble he's having here in the States with the feds. And I found that very interesting.
Is he originally from here? Is he immigrant?
Lebanese.
Oh, okay. So it could be something related to like not being a national.
I mean, I have no direct connection to any federal agents that I'm aware of. However, like my wife back in the day, she used to be part of an email group that included Valerie Plame was actually in that chain, email chain. So I mean, definitely I definitely have some like 2 degrees of separations from a few government type people.
Yeah,
you know,
but
you know who Valerie
you're
Plame
in
is, right?
Dallas. You're part of the book club there in Dallas. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but no, I'm far too poor to be a Fed or to be any kind of criminal thing like that. I wouldn't be on food stamps. I don't think if I was if I am and I'm unaware of it, then they owe me some paychecks. God damn it!
But how
They
do
owe
we
me
know?
some
Like,
money.
how do any of us know for sure? Every one of us could be lying or acting
So-
or playing a role.
So if you're a Fed, you should go to ADP, your ADP app, and you just check your paycheck, and it should say if you're a Fed or not there.
Well, yeah, but I have to have a login. I don't have one because I'm not employed by anybody.
Then you're probably not a Fed if you're not employed with someone.
But we only have his word for that. We don't know what he has.
That's true. I mean, but I could show the receipts, but I mean, I feel like that's.
Does anybody here
fuck, I don't care.
remember the days
anybody-
of the
if anybody has
bulletin
any-
board service
If anyone has any
yeah,
actual
the
doubt about my
BBS, like
Fed
back in
status,
the 90s.
when you had to dial in directly?
yeah,
I remember
So,
a friend of mine gave me a board to log into, and when I called the number and got in, all of a sudden my computer went nuts. Somehow he had a backdoor access number to the FBI.
oh shit, man. It's like
Yeah,
some shit from that's like some shit from that. Remember that movie Sneakers from the 80s or
Yeah.
early 90s? It's
And
like some shit like that.
they threatened me with all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, look, I'm erasing this phone number. I was looking for something else.
You're like suddenly living War Games or Sneakers or some shit like that. Like it's like
Oh.
oh shit, you know, I didn't mean to
I couldn't-
access the
Yeah,
The
I couldn't
government-
believe it.
I didn't mean to start playing thermonuclear warfare with a computer, you know.
But I was able to
Man.
walk right in. It was weird.
Well,
I
you know,
would
like-
say it was easier to get here than Walmart. What are you doing?
Well, remember,
Oh, wow.
like, you know, the infamous troll known as Weave, like his whole story started whenever he literally found an open page on AT&T's website that just listed all their customer phone numbers and names, and
Holy shit.
he reported it to AT&T. He was like, "There's a big security breach here," and AT&T sued him and said that he hacked them, even though it was an open page. There was no password or anything on it. It was just like an HTML page that just had all this stuff, and they put him in jail for like 3 years, and that
Wow.
fucked that dude's brain up until he became like turned into a neo-Nazi years later. And we used to Lindsay used to kind of interact with him on Twitter sometimes. So yeah, I mean, like there's like Lindsay far more than me is probably has a better chance of being a Fed than I do. I'm far too yeah, I'm just not. I wouldn't be a good Fed because I wouldn't give a shit.
But tell the sheriff.
I think
Tell the sheriff some of the
Hank,
money.
I think I cut Hank off earlier when he was trying to talk about Tarek.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tarek is the good cop to Officer Snap's bad cop. He likes to gossip a lot. Oh, that guy's doing that here, and this guy's doing that there, but it
what's
doesn't.
wrong with that?
Because it kind of doesn't make a difference. It's usually he brings up into completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
He just
because I
finds-
talked to Hank, I'm in the witches all of a sudden, according to Tarek.
In the witches?
Yeah. Hank is a gay black witch, according to Tarek.
Yeah, let me put that in the headline because they like just for they like the headline, so let me fix the headline for them.
Black witch.
Yeah, I don't get it. So because I talked to Hank, that makes me something.
Well, I
I've
do
got a-
know with Eric, like people, he is at least capable of having a conversation, and people can.
Well,
talk
except in chat. Chat, he's
Oh, yeah,
total
well.
opposite of what he is on panel.
Yeah, he's
I've-
just a clone of
I've seen a lot
Snafus
of
in
people do
chat.
that. I've seen a lot of people do that. Like they'd be reasonable in chat, and then like they do the panel, they turn into like this belligerent asshole. But
Well, he's
I
the
have a-
opposite.
I have a quick experiment I want to run with the chat real fast, and this is not a big deal. It's just like I have a curiosity. If you're in chat right now and you're watching the show, if you would just like sound off, just like just put a letter, whatever, in the chat, because like it says we only have 3 viewers, but I feel like we have a lot more people in chat than that right now. So I'm really curious.
Some of them, it only
about-
shows the ones from, I think, that are watching YouTube on through a browser. I don't think it captures
okay.
Twitter viewers, and it doesn't capture phone viewers. I'm not sure, but I think it only shows from a certain platform.
Okay, that makes sense because like I was just looking over. I was like, man, we got a lot of people in chat right now. I wonder how many people are watching, and it said just 3, and I was like, that's not even right because like we have at least like we've had more than 3 people because like I have the stream open just muted over here. So like that would count me as a viewer too. So like that would be like me plus 2 other people, and I see the 2 more.
Yeah, I also have the stream open, another tab muted. So switch from top chat to live chat will help as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't increase the number of viewers. It says that are watching the show on the thing. So I'm just trying to
I
get.
don't
I'm just
really
trying to
pay
get.
attention to that. No,
I don't really. I
go
don't. I'm just
more
trying
by
to
the
figure out.
comments, like who's.
I'm just trying
chatting
to
in
figure
comments.
out I'm just trying to figure out the algorithm. That's all.
Good luck on
Well,
that.
good. I'm glad you're paying attention to that because I never do.
But we gained 1 more subscriber to 128 now. So
Wow.
keep it going.
Well, thank you. I'm behind in the stream.
That's
We
I
are.
forget how I found
We'll
Jeff.
catch up, man. We'll catch up. Come on, just join the stream, then you're all
Yeah,
caught
come
up
on,
eventually. We need some Neurojack in here to like insert some chaos into the mix here, or somewhere in time. Come on, like
Jack's like an AI. He's good with prompting with questions.
He is good with prompting the questions. I know. He told me before he likes trying to spur things on from the comments.
Oh, you just need more chaos. You got your guys right here. So I've been claiming to be a narcissist. People say narcissists you can't be a narcissist because you're nuts. You're too self-aware. So maybe I'll rebrand as a Machiavellian.
Narcissists can be self-aware.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just passive aggressive.
I was thinking about rebranding as a Machiavellian because there's no rule that someone made up that a Machiavellian can't be self-aware that they're Machiavellian. The only issue is that the word's too long. The word's 4 syllables. It's very annoying. So maybe I'll just throw it into Mac.
I just call it all Dark Triad or Dark Tetrad now. And
well, I mean, Sam Beck can call it Dark Pentrad or whatever it's called.
You just call it the Dark Pentagram.
Yeah, Dark Pentagram. Yeah.
Yeah, that really works for your.
Do
brand,
you
yeah.
why do you think you're a narcissist? You don't, having been like I'm a narcissist magnet, and I know that personality type well, sociopaths too, and I don't get narcissist vibes from you. And I know sometimes autism is like it can be adjacent to narcissism.
Yeah.
So why do you think you're a narcissist?
I'm adjacent. I got pretty much. I can see my internal thoughts similar to people's external projections of what narcissists are. So that's why.
Can you ask Chuck and Hank if there is any blackmail ring in the YouTube streets?
Of course. Of course, there's a blackmail ring, but it doesn't work if you put everything out there already.
Well, how do you know?
That's my view.
What's a blackmail?
I am fully doxxed on the internet. It's really easy to find any of my information. I've
heard before. Yeah, there's some people that think certain streamers are being blackmailed, and that's why they say or do certain things on stream.
Yeah, there's totally a blackmail ring.
But how do you know, Hank?
They're called because I actually can read. I read stuff instead of be completely ignorant and just go on based my assumptions. So there's like a thing called networks, and pretty much a lot of streamers go into a network to try to get advertising, and it pretty much functions as a blackmail ring because you have to cede control to the network.
Okay, that's
Well,
not really what we're talking about. Though we're talking about like individual streamers blackmailing other streamers, for,
No,
like with
there's
information. and stuff like that.
Illuminati as well, but she tried to do that. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
streamers that are literally little scammers, like what's called something Paul, J Paul or something.
Jake
Logan
Paul.
Paul. Logan Paul.
Logan
He's
Paul.
he's
Yeah,
a little
Logan.
scammer.
They're brothers, Logan and Jake Paul. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he's a little scammer.
I think he's talking about these YouTube streets. I think
No,
he's
he's
talking about
no.
articles.
No, I don't know what he's thinking about talking about. I know what he wrote. So there's blackmailing YouTubers. There's predatory networks. There's little scammers. So yes, in our immediate circles, well, no, we have some narcissists, we have some autists, and we have Officer Snaps and Officer Tarek. We don't have enough leverage to do a successful blackmail.
If you're being blackmailed, just blink in a certain pattern next time you're on stream, and we'll try to help you out.
Well, we got to establish that pattern. What
Yeah,
pattern
we
they need
do.
to blink in.
Something easy to remember.
Just say the word. We'll come up with a safe word for it. If you're being blackmailed, come on the panel and just post the word pineapple or something without.
Well,
That's why
blackmail
Chris,
someone,
that's why
I'll probably
Chris
come on
is
stage.
wearing glasses so he can't see his eyes.
And I mean, I don't mind taking off my sunglasses.
no,
I didn't wear sunglasses very recently until I set these lights up. But these lights are like bright as crap, and they
Yep.
do help. They do help a lot for the image, but they hurt my eyes after a while. So I wear the sunglasses.
I was just
Oh, I
razzing
definitely
you.
wearing that hat too. Well, I was
Oh,
wearing
that-
hat mostly.
The hat. I just like the hat.
I like
I
my
just like-
hat.
It's just a cool hat that it's a original penguin hat that I had for a long time. I found my storage unit the other day, so that's where I'm wearing that. I just think it's cool. But yeah, I have no issue unmasking myself or face revealing or anything like that. I've been face revealed for the whole time I've been on this. You can go back to any one of our previous panels prior to the beginning of the year, and I'm 100% like, I didn't even try to like look anything. I've shaved my face. I've done everything. I mean, like, yeah, I'm as doxxed as you can get, I think.
Yeah, me too. Very long time ago, I did a presentation at the Pittsburgh Pro Workshop. With both my old username, because I used Oflamo instead of Hank Oflamo, and my actual name John Lewis, which I don't like using because it's like 3 or 4 famous people with the same name. So I had to do something to track myself better. So I picked another name.
Right. Well, is what it is.
Silverton Caviar. Other than yours, no.
There you go. In honor of Hank, I changed my hat.
Now we're all hat wearers, okay. Except for Jeff, I guess, right now. But I usually wear my cabbie style hats. Those are the ones I usually prefer. But this is like I wore this kind of weird baseball cap thing today.
So they asked you, Chuck, if you think there was a blackmail ring, and just
A blackmail ring?
in the Little League panelverse.
Who's in
I-
it? Hank
The
and
only
Joe
thing
Cool?
I know of is people getting together through emails in order to contrive their show.
Oh, like what?
That's
Like me, I
Like-
do that. Sometimes
Like
I'll
they
be- I'll
plan drama
email-
in advance. It's staged.
yes. That's exactly
Who's
what I'm
doing
talking
this?
about. I'm
me,
not gonna
I
mention.
send emails to Talcott sometimes.
You think Talcott's? He doesn't seem like.
I send
Hmm.
emails to him. So if it's
Tommy
you send-
definitely does.
Talcott don't like me.
Why not?
Because he thinks my only purpose in life is to give him grief. Because I call him out on his profound thoughts sometimes. Like the other day when he was saying that he was a prophet when he went to the
He's
LDS church the other day, and I'm like, oh Lord, get in touch with reality.
I don't see a problem with that. I actually went. The last church I went to was an LDS church because my Sunny Hill was closed. I'm a prophet too, but just not for Yahweh. Prophet for Eris. I don't see a problem with him being a prophet.
he doesn't like being challenged.
Yep.
I challenge him all the time. He said no secrets the last time I was on, and I said, "Oh, really? Does that include your passwords?" And he didn't really give a proper defense. And he also didn't share me his password, so he doesn't believe it.
Well, I would say, Jack, Jack asked if there was any Freemasonic conspiracies being noticed. I would say, as I've said before, I do not believe that the Freemasons currently have any kind of real sense of actual power left in the culture or anything like that. I think they used to back in the day, but I don't think Freemasons are any kind of threat or anything to be worried about these days. They really are just a boys' club these days. So I think you got to look beyond Freemasons if you're looking for conspiracy stuff. Like I just don't think I've met enough Freemason stuff, and they don't know shit. So I mean, maybe some of them. There might be some of them there are people that are Freemasons that are powerful in other ways, but they're not powerful because they're Freemasons. It's just a coincidental thing.
Most of them nowadays you could equate to the Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters the group. Jax needs some group, no matter what. Like he has like a template in his head that requires a group to be controlling things behind the scenes. So it doesn't matter if it's Jays, Freemasons, Illuminati, whoever. He's not going to give up the idea that there is a controlling group.
I would join the Freemasons because they'd help me get a job. I would join the Freemasons if I had a chance.
Which Jack are you talking about?
No, Jack.
Oh, Nero.
Jack.
But he doesn't use a consistent name because
not Talcott. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't use a consistent name because he wants to be hidden. He's afraid that the conspirators will get him, even though he's already got.
That's
I'm
not
right here.
it.
Claiming that I got him.
That's not
so
why.
Look,
he
Jack, look into the Unitarian Universalists. We do a lot of rabble rousing. We have power and you don't. I mean,
y'all rabble roused when y'all gave us wokeness.
Yes, you're welcome.
Or at least the modern iteration of it.
Yeah. We also, in fact, let me check my email. I think we're trying to watch some.
What is a Unitarian?
Unitarian is someone who believes in a not like a single concept. I had to break it down a little bit more. So we don't believe in the Trinity. We believe there's like Unitarian is someone who doesn't believe in the Trinity. To put it simply.
Okay.
They believe in a return to the great oneness of the universe, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're wrong, but yeah. They're regressionists, not progressionists.
Any of you guys flat Earth by chance?
Oh, fuck no.
Not this white boy.
Okay. I was making sure I wasn't going to get decapitated.
Oh,
no,
are you flat?
I'm fine if you're flat Earth.
No.
I'm fine if you are. I'm not gonna like once again.
I'm gonna think you're crazy, and it's gonna affect my.
Yeah, it's gonna affect my opinion of you.
It's gonna affect your credibility in other areas. It will.
So,
Flow State is such an enigma to me that he.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna say
he said he's not flat Earth. He's non-heliocentric.
Yeah, but even that. That's a.
I'm not heliocentric either. I'm not heliocentric either. I believe in.
Yeah, but you never had the credibility he had.
Yeah. So I believe in what's it called? relativism, so I'm not heliocentric either. But that's like the
What's
modern.
do I want to know what relativism is? Dare I ask?
Called. Yes, it's just
I mean, I know it in the
relativism where you
Einsteinian.
put anything you want at the center, and the physics model still works. So that's relativism. The general relativity, you heard of it?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
No,
Special
I never heard of
relativity?
that.
Does
I
it,
mean,
but you
I,
can't
like,
put
You ever heard of either of those stuff?
who's this Einstein guy you're talking about? That's crazy. Like, what's that about? I don't know. And yeah, I know what relativism is about.
Okay.
General relativity. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what it is. And it's largely and it still keeps getting proven and then disproven, like on
There's
a
general
semi-yearly basis.
and special.
I mean, that's the reason why
But you can't put any. You can put anything you want in the center of your model, but you can't put anything you want when you're trying to apply the model against reality.
I mean, that's why.
No, you
Einstein,
can put
Einstein
you can put anything you want in there, except it doesn't mean everything. Oh, your results may not be what you expect them to be. So what I want to do is pick a model whose results is closest to what the universe responds with.
Well, that's the heliocentric model. The scientists have already done all the work for you.
No, it's not the heliocentric model. It's general relativity, which is
So
not
the
the heliocentric
scientists are
model.
wrong.
The
We're talking about the
scientists are wrong.
solar system. The heliocentric model is of our solar system, not of the universe.
Well, yeah, I mean, we named the system after the sun, so of course it's modeled with the sun in the center. It's
So
kind
what
of
does that have
circular.
to do with? What does it have to do with relativity?
Oh, because you said universe first and forgot about that.
Right. What does the solar system have to do with the universe? It's the heliocentric model of the solar system, not of the universe.
You have context issues.
No, I think you have
Context
listening issues or articulation issues. The heliocentric model is a model. When people say they reject the heliocentric model is a model of our solar system, the sun and the however many planets,
Right.
and the moons around
That-
the planets and the asteroid belt and all that stuff. It's not about the universe. It's about a
Not
part of the universe called our solar system.
That's okay. That was not always true. The heliocentric model used to be a part of the whole. Used to be a model of the whole universe, but we found out there's more of the universe than we
Yeah,
expected.
before they
So we
knew-
switched to a
before
newer
they-
model. We switched to a
I'm
newer
talking about
model.
the
So
current-
it doesn't
the
apply
current-
to the whole universe. We switched to a new model that applies to more of the universe.
Right.
You understand?
We've updated our model to be current with the information we now have about the universe. So I'm talking
Yes.
about the current model, not the classical model or whatever, where they thought the sun was the center of the whole universe. I'm talking about the current. So if you're talking about the old classical model, nobody even uses that anymore. So I'm not that version of heliocentrism either. Nobody is.
How do you know nobody is?
Well, I'm sure there are some crazies out there that are, but like for most people, don't still work off of the old models of the universe that the Greeks and even the Renaissance developed.
there's a lot of people on YouTube that believe in that.
Well,
Still,
maybe so. But when I hear people reject the heliocentric model, I assume they're rejecting the current model that has the sun at the center of our solar system.
Okay.
And so
yeah.
they sound crazy to me when they say, "Oh, I reject that."
So yeah, because you make that assumption and you didn't make it explicit, that's why I said it.
Because
Yeah,
when people are talking about, I assume they're working off of our current paradigm. I'm not.
Okay.
I have no way of knowing they're working off of some obscure occult historical paradigm. I would not assume that to be the model they're working off of.
You assume you quite assumed a little more than I would
So
have done.
if
And that's why I said
Flowstack
you had
talks
context
about
issues.
not being heliocentric, if he means he's not the version of heliocentric from hundreds of years ago, I would not know that from his claim.
Yeah, then I would
I
ask
would
for
assume he's
clarification
talking
and
about
have
what's
assumed.
commonly understood as the heliocentric model, which is our current scientific understanding of the solar system.
Yeah, but I would ask for clarification instead of assuming. That's why I said yeah.
Well,
the
I will
context issue.
now, but it would never cross my mind that somebody wasn't talking about the current model.
Okay.
when they make a claim that general without specifying, oh, I mean the heliocentrism of ancient Greece.
Okay.
Yeah, most flat earthers these days are relying on ancient maps or drawings to totally disavow what we live in these days. And I just don't get it. There's no
I
proof.
I
I
think it's
disagree.
more psychology than
Ma-
an interest in reality.
No, they're not even using ancient models. They're using new maps, but they're playing peekaboo. They're picking and choosing what facts they want to compile in.
Yeah, but they're doing
Yes.
it for psychological reasons, not for any interest in figuring out what the truth is.
No, I wouldn't say psychological. I would say sociological reasons. They want to be top of a dominance hierarchy, and they think they could do it with this
No.
flat earth bullshit.
I guess that is psychology to me. Like that impulse to be at the top of a hierarchy is innately
A lot of
psychological.
flat
Because I
earthers.
wouldn't call that psychology because it involves more than one person.
No, it doesn't have to involve more than one person. Like a flat earther can be a flat earther all on their own.
Yeah,
For their
that's
own
why I say
reasons.
that's why it doesn't make sense at a psychological level. You have to use a sociological level for it to make any sense of it.
No, it makes perfect sense at a psychological level. You can certainly use a sociological analysis of it if you want, but you can just as easily use a psychological one and have it
But
make sense.
I can't use a psychological one because it doesn't make any sense to me, and I can't.
Well, you
I
might not
can't
be
make
able
a
to.
good explanation with a psychological
I
thing
can.
because I could easily. I have no reason to pin it. I could just substitute any other thing without making any kind of sense.
What I'm finding is a lot of the flat earthers I've talked to, their point or their belief or their whatever you want to call it is to prove a point. Okay, they lied to us about what the earth is as far as shape, so therefore everything else they tell us is a lie.
Yeah, it's that sense of like having been lied to by
Yeah,
official
yeah.
authority or institutions, and that sense of mistrust that comes from it. And so it's
And
like
that's like,
a way of dealing with that cognitive dissonance.
and I try to tell people if everything you're talking about is a conspiracy, then everything is not a conspiracy. If everything is a conspiracy, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Everything cannot be a conspiracy.
No, I can't.
I'm
If
with you there.
I mean,
if everything's a conspiracy, then nothing is. It doesn't have any
It
meaning.
depends on how broadly you define conspiracy. If you can define conspiracy as any time two people talk about something, talk about a plan without like including other people, then I suppose you could say like, yeah, everything's a conspiracy, but that's just stupid.
Yeah, that's a different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the only way you could make that kind of claim. And he Jack asked, Hank and check, do you think there's anything to do with flat Earth being a psyop? You know what I think, Jack? I mean, like, and I don't think this is the truth. All of them. I think some of them are just being Discordian, kind of like just trolls, just like being contrarian for the sake of it, just because like they're anti-establishment.
I think it's reality disconnect.
Yeah, I've talked to some flat earthers before that that very soberly and very consciously seem to believe that they really could not see the curvature of the Earth, and I think there may be an actual disorder, a brain disorder that these people have that's undiagnosed. It's just a theory, it's a speculation, and I have no proof for it. But it seems to me that it looks a lot more like someone who has like some sort of disorder in their vision where they cannot see that. Like the curvature of the Earth just doesn't process in their brain, and that's the reason why they believe it.
No, there's no evidence of any kind of disorder. They've been researched. They couldn't find the evidence.
I didn't know anyone researched it, so I guess that's my bad.
Well, you didn't look.
I did look. I did look at this when this first occurred to me, because I can walk outside right now, and I can go out to any kind of like field or something, and I can see the curvature of the Earth. It's very easy to see. You can see it in the sky, you can see it in the land, and there's the people that are like they're otherwise intelligent people that believe in this flat Earth stuff. They literally will say that like there is no curvature. They can't see any curve to the Earth, and I'm like, that seems like some sort of visual perception problem, like
It's
some
not-
problem where they don't see
It's
it.
not a visual perception problem because we can show them the curve of fault there if there, and they can still see it.
What?
I'm going to ask.
You could show them
Yeah.
you can show them just the line, and they can tell it's a curve, and you'll say there's no curve there once you put the Earth under it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess I mean, it's just a theory. It's not truth or fact or anything. I just wonder.
It's
I
not
just
even a
wondered
theory
myself.
yet. It's a hypothesis that needs to be tested.
Sorry, an hypothesis. It's a hypothesis that it comes from a place of compassion too. I'm trying to see how these people that are otherwise intelligent could believe this
Well,
thing.
I'm going to tell you because I just asked the AI and it gave 5
Okay.
reasons, and here they
Oh
are.
boy.
And the first one is exactly what I said: distrust in authority and institutions. They
Yeah.
harbor a deep distrust of government, scientists, and academia,
Especially
viewing
NASA, yeah.
them as part of a grand conspiracy to hide the truth. That's the kind of flat earthers I've been encountering on streams.
Me too.
There's also
Me
the
too.
misinterpretation of
Me too.
observations. They base their beliefs on everyday observations and personal interpretations of natural phenomena, like what you said, not being able to see the curve. There's confirmation bias in online communities. They gravitate toward online communities and echo chambers that reinforce their existing beliefs. The fourth is the appeal of alternate narratives. They offer a simpler and more relatable explanation of the world compared to the complexities of mainstream science. These do seem to be more low complexity people. And then religious or philosophical beliefs is the fifth reason. So there's 5 reasons right there that
Yeah,
make
and
this flat earth theory attractive to people.
And I want to go on to talk about the religious beliefs. So most of these flat earthers, some are atheists, but they all seem to be strictly Abrahamist, whether they believe whether they're atheists or not. And they go on this narrative. They want to hide this real shape of the earth from you because they're trying to hide God from everyone. And I don't understand how that's supposed to work when the God that's supposed to be hiding is omnipotent and omnipresent. So if they're trying to hide God, then what they're doing is convincing God to hide himself, and he's just doing it.
I mean, just like everything about flat Earth is it's so freaking like it requires so much more like brain like twisting to even like come to that to honestly come to that conclusion, because just imagining like that space is like filled with like a bunch of like flat island like things that have like, I mean, just like it's just bizarre if you try to see it from their viewpoint. Like they literally, I heard this one guy that was so intelligent on this podcast this one time, and he talked really intelligently for like 2 hours about different things. But then they finally got the flat Earth thing, and I was like actually interested in this guy's thing. And when it got to the flat Earth thing, it suddenly sounded like he became like it's like his IQ dropped to like 20. It's like he seriously, like he started talking the way he started talking about the flat Earth thing. He was like, well, I didn't believe it at first either, and I started researching that. I showed it to my wife, and like we were just both like, wow, this has got to be it. And the guy asked him like, really, like, it's like, so how do you explain like the moon? How do you explain like stars? He's like, weather balloons.
Southern Israelite. Yeah, I remember that. Southern Israelite.
Oh no, this was
Well,
Southern
you-
Israelite. This is a long time ago.
A different
One
one.
of the common ones they use is an airplane doesn't curve when it flies because
They've never been
think
in an
of
airplane.
they think of a level down here on the ground, with the water bubble in it, right? That's level here. Whenever we do something, we use a level that's got the water bubble in it, right? However, airplane level indicators and altimeters use barometric pressure, which is how they measure the gravity. When you get away from the Earth, you get different pressures at different levels. So that's how they run the altimeter and the level indicators, by barometric pressure, trying to maintain that. they're not trying to maintain a physical level with airplanes, and people refuse to read up on how that works. It's amazing.
Did you hear about the guy that tried to prove flat Earth by he created like this slingshot like rocket ship type thing, and he literally just just flung himself into the Earth, like he just killed
Ooh.
himself.
Oh,
like,
Rocket Man. Yes, I remember.
yeah,
him.
Rocket Man. Oh my God, it was so. I mean, I felt both. It
Is
was
that the
both
one
sad.
that Kate Bush wrote that song about?
I don't know. This happened not that long ago. It was like 5 years
no,
ago.
guess
No.
not, 'cause it's from the 90s.
Yeah, it was both hilarious and sad at the same time, because like I felt bad that this guy really bought into this stuff so much that he built this machine and was willing to put his life on the line for it. And then I mean, like, and the video of it is just tragic. It's just like everyone's all excited and it's like woo, and they launch it and he just kind of goes fling boom, and just like it's over so fast. It's like in seconds, and it's just
Yeah.
like damn,
Yeah, Mad
just
Mike
damn.
Hughes.
Yeah, it's so.
Hank, Jack has this question about Unitarianism being the social engineering.
Yeah, I
religion.
answered him in chat.
Is that what appeals to you about it?
Yes, I used to be Alex Jones guy, and this is exactly what he would describe as globalist. So I joined it because Alex Jones wasn't going anywhere. And I try to answer chat questions in chat just to keep the stuff going along.
Yeah, I mean, I still have some respect for Alex Jones.
I do too, but he's not. I mean, he woke the
What do
sleeping.
you respect
He woke
about
the
him?
sleeping giant up, and now we had the palm of woke. So
Well, Alex
John
Jones.
doesn't know.
Alex Jones. I mean, like Alex Jones didn't just pop out of nowhere as like the crazy conspiracy guy he was. I mean, he started his thing as an actual journalist. He was one of the only boots in the ground at the Waco thing that was actually telling the truth about what was happening at Waco, because the media was covering up a lot of like what was actually going on there with he was the one that he actually had a camera and stuff, and was showing what they were actually doing to the people at the Waco complex and stuff like that. And so like, and that's where he got his first like big start, I guess, in terms of his first notoriety. And
You respect his journalism?
I just respect the fact that he is an independent thinker. I don't agree with him on everything, but I respect that he is an independent thinker that really that tries to do something. I think he believes in his mission. I really do. I think yeah, and he's got an audience captured somewhat, and he's done his fair share of like bullshit ads for like like protein drinks and stuff like that. And, that's it. But that's just like capitalism. That's just like making it by in society. I think that he has been right about a lot of things. He's been right about a lot more things than people are willing to give him credit for. The gay frog thing, it turned out to be actually worse than what he was even saying. It wasn't turning the frogs gay, it was turning them female.
Trans.
It was making the frogs trans, and that's been
We
proven.
talked. Remember, I brought up we talked about that
Yeah.
online and kind of debunked
Yeah.
that a little bit.
Well, no,
So
we didn't debunk it
everyone's
because it's
so
confirmed.
exposed to social media, and they swallow so much new
I
read the-
stories
I read-
and
I read
narratives
the-
and
I read the
propaganda.
paper
It's
the
hard
sci-
to
I read the paper
separate
the scientist
what's
wrote.
real and what.
I read the paper the scientist wrote. I didn't get this from like.
I know,
Twitter
but
or something
remember
like that.
on the stream we pulled up that paper, and then I pulled up some other papers, and I pulled up the Wikipedia article, and they led to these other contrary opinions of that paper, and we broke it all down on stream. I don't want to do it again today,
we don't need to do it.
but I
We don't need to do it
remember
again.
doing that.
Well, see, that's what Snafu's laid a claim is, that he used to work for Alex Jones.
Right. Supposedly.
I don't know
There's
if
no
it's
evidence
true
of
or
that.
not.
They both have that same like ranty, confrontational style.
I also
no.
I also find him to be
Snafu
actually
doesn't
very
have the same
entertaining,
style
too.
as Alex Jones. No, he doesn't.
I also do find Alex Jones to be somewhat entertaining. I have to admit. I think that he's funny and he knowingly funny. I think a couple of his appearances on Rogan, I think, were actually really cool. Like he actually said like a lot of things that he can be a reasonable person. He kind of gets typecast in this way that I think is kind of sad. But
I respect intelligence. The more intelligent somebody is, the more I'm gonna respect them. And Alex Jones just does not. He doesn't meet my standards.
He
what
doesn't
I
come
look for in
across as intelligent, but I
intelligent
do think he
person.
is intelligent.
Jeff, do you respect Stephen Wolfram as intelligent?
Who is that?
Okay, I don't believe you now. I don't believe you respect intelligence at all.
Well, you can
Right.
believe what you want. I know what I respect and admire in people. Whether you
I don't-
believe
I
it or not,
disagree.
it
I
doesn't
don't-
depend on
you
You mean
you.
the guy? You mean the guy that came up with the Wolfram app
Wolfram
that
Alpha?
like that?
Alpha?
the app-
Yes,
Wolfram
yes, the
Alpha?
Wolfram
Yeah.
Alpha,
Yeah.
the Mathematica, that guy. And
Yeah.
you don't know
Okay.
who he is, yet you respect intelligence. I don't.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, I don't understand. Just because you don't know someone is doesn't mean you don't respect intelligence. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Though if you respect intelligence, you would probably know.
He's just being a troll.
You probably
contrary.
know. You would probably know the I guess some of the most popular, famous, intelligent people that there are. I mean, he's a well-known guy.
I mean, he is the basis of a lot of AI stuff is based on his technology and stuff like that. That is true.
Yes.
A lot of the
That has
interface.
nothing to do with me admiring intelligence. And
Yeah,
people.
it does. I agree. I agree with Jeff though. That
Do you
doesn't
not
have to do with
know who intelligent people are? Yeah, you respect intelligence.
I don't know every single intelligent person on the planet, and I doubt you do either.
That's a straw
So I
man,
think
Jeff.
it's
That is
just
a
a
straw
way
man.
to either
No,
misread.
it's
That
not.
is-
Yours
that's
is
a
a
straw
straw
man.
man. Yours is a straw man.
Yeah, it's
That's
exactly.
how is that a straw man? I said he respects intelligence. I thought intelligent is an intelligent person that's well known, and he says, "Yeah, I don't know him." How is that a straw man? I
Because
didn't
it's
say
not.
How
you
does
had
that
no
have
feature
anything
and be
to
intelligent
do
person
with
and just an opinion.
respecting the
He's well
intelligence
known
and the people
in
that I deal with?
AI, which Jeff says he claims to have an interest in.
That has nothing to do with whether or not Jeff respects intelligence, whether or not he knows every intelligent person.
So how do I verify that Jeff actually respects intelligence? Then tell me how I check that.
When you have to look at the people that he knows of, the people that he's familiar with, and the people amongst those people that fit his definition of intelligence. Which his definition of intelligence might be different than mine or yours. It is not. It's not a hard defined concrete term. And then see if he respects those people, and then you can see if he respects intelligence.
I don't understand Hank's
That's a good
logic at
point.
all. You have to know every single person in a category before you can
That's a good
respect or
point.
admire the quality of that category.
No. Hold it. Jeff, what is your definition of intelligence?
People that are able to reason effectively, come up with insight. They have wisdom. They can articulate that wisdom. We used that model the other day of perception, judgment, experience, intuition, and I guess the ability to articulate it in a eloquent way. I know it when I see it. I know it when I'm reading a book that's written by an intelligent person and when I'm reading a book that's written by a dummy. I know when I'm watching a YouTube video of somebody that's intelligent, like Crocoduck or Zarathustra Serpent or even P.F. Jung, versus when I'm watching a video of somebody who is not intelligent, like a lot of the YouTube streamers and the troll streamers.
Okay, Chris. Jeff told me his definition of intelligence, and it's whoever he says is intelligent. I can't use that definition. I had to ask Jeff.
Well, you know what?
Okay.
Use your own definition, because it does. Nothing I say depends on you. So when I say I admire intelligence, it's going to be what I consider intelligent. It doesn't depend on having to correlate with what you think intelligence is.
Well,
at
no,
all.
okay. He's asking you, what are your criteria, though? What's the criteria? When you examine someone, you examine like whether or not you think they're intelligent. What's the criteria you use to define that?
I just rattled off a whole list.
Yeah, I know you did. I know, but I'm saying that, but he didn't seem to understand that. I'm
I
saying
think
that.
he's
I heard
asking
the
Hank.
list, but it pretty much says to ask Jeff who he thinks is intelligent to know if someone's intelligent.
It's like
And
you
I
want
can't use-
Chris
I can't
to
use his
mediate,
definition. I can't
mediate
use his
some
definition.
perceived conflict
It's
or
useless.
dispute that we're having that we're not, because what I made has nothing to do with you or your opinion. It's so you're like
It's a
trying to
definition,
pick a
Jeff.
fight that's not there.
It's a definition. I have to. Is it not? It's a useless definition. I can't use your definition.
Okay, so I
Fine,
say that I respect intelligence. I told you what that means to me. What do you want to do from there?
I just want to be clear that Jeff did tell me how I figure out someone's intelligent per his definition and just ask him. I just want to make that clear.
Well, what's your
That's not what he.
definition,
That's
Hank?
not what he said, though. That's not what he said. He talked about people that are willing
I know
to.
this whole thing is dumb. This whole thing right here is not intelligent. This is just dumb.
I'll
I
give you that.
agree.
Whoa.
But that's
Did you-
okay. That's okay. It's
did
okay. Intelligent people can still act unintelligently at times. It does not mean that they are unintelligent.
Did you
overall.
kick him, Jeff?
No, he left. He does. that
No,
all
he
the
left.
time.
He got mad. and left.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
I
know why
was-
Hank got so mad.
I was
usually-
looking
He
for
comes on
his
sometimes and
definition.
tries to pick these dumb little fights that go nowhere that I don't even know why. It might be an autism thing. Like he might be confused.
I don't know why he got. I don't know. He got so butthurt. I mean, like we can argue and still be friends. I don't know why he gets so so like been out of shape
don't-
about it. Like
It doesn't have to be an argument. It just has to be a
I
conversation.
know, but you know what, Chuck? I argue with autistic people all the time. More than I do with ordinary people. Like my conflict
get-
is usually with other people that are on the spectrum because the communication
I can
gets so
understand
confused
that.
and screwed up.
I have an autistic son, so I can relate.
How old is he?
He's 14 now.
you mean
Like
like
high
clinically
school age?
autistic? You mean he's like clinically autistic, or you mean like he's just
Yes,
like
sir.
on the
No,
spectrum?
He's clinically been tested and all that good stuff.
I agree, Hank. I think that's a good thing to do.
And he
Non-autistic is the new autist. Yes.
and when they was running all their tests on him, he was the first person in the world to ever have a particular double numbered chromosome that no
Oh.
one else in the world has.
Huh.
And I'm like,
That's fascinating.
I'm like, what does that do for me? Tell me what that means.
What? Yeah. How do I handle that? What am I need to do as a parent? I'd be the same way. I'd be like, okay, so explain to me how this is going to change the way I need to parent this child.
That's
Right.
that's what I do. By the way, my website is in the description. If y'all have any autistic issues or questions, feel free
Oh,
to
really?
contact. This is exactly what I
Cool.
do.
Wow, that's
I
cool.
work with autistic people and I work with the parents to help them understand how to support their autistic children. Or that's one of the things I do.
I didn't see Hank's comment that way, but
I'm not worried about Hank. He'll be fine. We'll all be okay.
I mean, like I personally don't think that it's some grave sin if intelligent people occasionally get off topic and like it maybe things devolve into something less intelligent for a minute. You get it back on track and you move on. I think it's a little silly to like be like, oh well, it's unintelligent, so I left. But I mean, you know what, Hank, I still love you.
This is
I still love
definitely
you. I'm
not
still
good.
your friend.
This is not stream drama. I'm not worried about this turning
Yeah.
into.
okay.
No, I'm not either. I'm just making it clear that I'm not trying to talk shit about him. I'm just saying like I still
like
respect you,
Hank.
still love you.
Yeah.
I like Hank. So I just want Hank to know that I'm not trying to like be like Hank's dumb or something like that. I'm just saying.
Oh.
It is your time to use. Yeah,
it is your
is.
time to use comma Chris, or it is your time to use Chris.
Well, you know, Hank, I would say though as a and when it comes to streams and stuff like that, I do think like when you're having a conversation like that, it might be a little bit, you know, more like in line with like, you know, kind of like social politeness, maybe just to like say like, hey, I don't want to deal with this. I'm gonna go. I always annoys me a little bit.
I don't hold Hank to that. I don't have that experience. I think it's fine to drop. I drop off all the time if things get frustrating. I think it's fine especially with autistic people. We're not always going to do the etiquette thing.
That's right.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I try to always like. That's just me. I don't need to apply that standard to other people.
You're way more polite than I am. Like I already know that. So you're.
I'm sorry that you're sorry that I'm sorry that you're sorry.
I told you I scored a 12 in politeness on the Big 5 test, the Jordan Peterson test. 12 out of 100.
Wow. Is that good?
No, No,
No,
and Hank,
No.
I agree. I agree, Hank. Like you.
Oh,
his
hey,
New Time
Provo.
News. Hey, yeah, hi, Provo. You want to come on?
We tried to watch the New Year's countdown in Provo, but we couldn't find anything.
I couldn't find it.
So we ended up watching the taco drop in Tucson for Mountain
Taco
Time.
drop.
Yeah, they have a Taco Bell pinata, and they lower it
Oh
down
Lord.
on a crane, and then everybody claps and they go home. Like they didn't have fireworks or lights or confetti or anything. That's the Tucson New Year's. It's a tradition.
Etiquette is bullshit, he says. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
an
agree.
opinion.
I get. See, how could I get? We get each other.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having with just like especially the people that you're friends with or feel that you respect, just to say like, hey, like I'm backing out of this. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see how
And
that's
see,
how that's,
Provo's
like,
another autistic person adding
like
another
rage
to the
quitting.
mix.
Rage quitting just
This
seems
is going to
rage-
be a spurg
Rage quitting
spiral.
rage quitting just seems like a really immature
I
thing
didn't.
to do.
He didn't rage quit.
Right.
He didn't rage
sure
quit.
about that?
If anything, it was
Dealing-
frustration. I was getting frustrated with the conversation too.
Dealing
Frustration.
with my son, that is a natural reaction. It's not a rage quit. It's a
Okay.
let
with
me
Provo's
back out of
the
this.
Irish
Let
goodbye.
me back out.
I leave
Yeah,
all the
okay.
time. When conversations get frustrating to me or social situations, I don't understand what's going on. I'm out.
Maybe I should apply
I'll
that
figure
more
it out
often.
later.
I always try to like send like a little wave or send a little message just saying like, hey, I'm gonna go. But
Yeah, that's
maybe
we
that's
don't
just
always
like,
do that.
that's my
Yeah.
that's my southern upbringing though. Like my southern upbringing is very
Well,
like is very
I'm Southern too, but I still don't even always do it. Like, we don't always
And
we get in the moment. Like if it's a meltdown or a confusion situation like that, we don't even always have the executive capacity to even do the hand wave. It's taken
Yep.
all of our resources just to figure out the situation and get ourselves to a better place.
And I don't go around these panels just for the sake of creating argument with people. I
Oh,
just
I
like
know
definitely-
you're one of the
conversation.
most
I'm not-
skilled
I'm not-
people.
yeah, you're
I
chill,
think I've
dude.
met
I
on
think you're
stream
cool
so
as hell.
far.
Well, hell,
Yeah,
I'm 63 years old. I got a lot of life behind me.
Oh my God! I thought you were.
I appreciate
than
your
me.
presence, Chuck.
Yeah, I thought you were like
Appreciate
in
your
your 40s.
No, I wish.
Oh, so you're the you're the elder here. We should be taking wisdom from you.
Are you
Yeah,
are you on our
Go
Discord?
ahead.
I was gonna say, are you on our
No.
Discord?
No,
You
I
ought- you
don't
oughta-
know
you oughta-
any.
You ought to join the Discord. Like we get on there and we watch movies and shit like that. It's fun.
Oh, okay. I don't even know what Discord is.
It's just an app. You just download the app
Oh,
and then you sign up for it.
It's like a chat room program so we all hang out in between streams on Discord and keep it going.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look into that.
just sign up and message one of us with like your username and we'll give you the invite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that later this evening.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, Provo Planet. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I guess, do that. Maybe it's me that should change. Maybe I should be more open.
No. This is
supporting-
a cultural thing. And like autistic people, when it comes to this kind of stuff, we have our own
That's
culture. ways of
that's
doing
normal
things. If you're not
behavior.
part of that, it's no reflection on you and your culture.
Exactly.
I grew up with manners too, and I know all the polite stuff, but I can't always do it depending on the state I'm in at the time. So
Yep, my son's the same way.
Nick and I may deal with a manifestation or trait of neurodiversity that you might not necessarily deal with, and when it does happen, I totally get it. Like I get what Hank was going through.
All right, fair enough. That's the reason why. That's the reason why I like.
You're
having
just
these
on the
conversations.
outside looking in, but as far as I'm concerned, it's all good.
I could tell by the.
You just illuminated that. You illuminated that for me, and like I appreciate that. That's why I love these kind of things because I actually learn. I actually learn about like that.
And I seen it coming on when I watched his face there at the end.
Oh, with Hank?
Yeah.
You could see. That's the thing I don't pick up. People that can tell when conflict is escalating can like adjust and pull back, but I can't ever tell. So I just keep going and going, and the conflict.
Well, I'm talking because I could read my. I can read my son's autism that way. Just by his facial manners, I
Oh,
can tell what's
man.
about to happen.
I have to admit, I've known a lot of
That
people
sure
around
would
the
be
spectrum.
useful to be able to do that.
I've known a lot of people
Well,
around the spectrum, but I haven't know. I've been close friends with a lot of like
you
like clinically autistic
you
people. So
you either learn or you neglect that person, and I'd rather learn.
Yeah, that's true. And some of us can't ever learn. Yeah, I get that too. I don't like when the focus is too much on me, especially in a like tense situation.
no,
Leaving
and
with-
Hank, like
and with
like
autistic people, like one thing we are going to come across as rude. So if you're going to be friends or hang out with us, just know at times it's got to be okay for us to be rude. What looks like rudeness to other people, that's just going to happen.
sure.
So like
I mean,
I guess
I
adjust
get it
your
now.
expectations is what I'm saying.
I get it now. I mean, like I learned something. I learned something today about that, and like I'm saying, and that's what I was gonna say.
Cool.
Is that Hank, I completely I understand where you're coming from now. I retract my previous comment. I'm just saying that I understand now. It's not
Well-
something that I personally understood. I guess about that part of autistic personality
yeah.
issues. So that's not something
Oh
I
yeah.
really.
Because like I don't care if people think I'm rude or not. I know what I'm doing at any given moment, and so what other people think about it, I can just ignore.
I'm trying to remember what panel I found you on, Jeff.
Oh,
Or
it
Chad?
might have been Flow
Machine
State,
or Jack,
Talcott, or
Flow State?
Machine Lies. Those are the three main ones that I hang out on.
Machine Lies. Machine Lies is where I first encountered
I think
you.
I've seen you on Machine Lies before too. I think I've seen you at least in the chat or something like that over there. I've been on Machine
Yeah.
Lies a bunch of times too, but
I've been mostly in his chat. The only time I've gone up on his panel is when I thought he was experiencing some trouble when his wife left him. So I was just trying to give him some help, some support.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, Chris, I actually
What-
prefer when you're confused. When I'll let keep people confused because I'm more scary that way. I have more leverage, so I actually prefer when you're confused and don't know what I'm doing.
And see, I'm here to.
well, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
that's
Jeff
secret.
demystified you for me, and therefore
demystify your leverage.
But that's your
better
job,
work.
Jeff. So you're doing
Hats
your job.
off to you. I don't think I've ever seen you without your hat.
I'm going to say you better worry. He's got his
he
hat
took it off
off.
earlier for a minute.
Yeah, I
Oh.
Took it
did.
off earlier for a minute. Yeah.
I got a nice haircut and stuff. A couple
Yeah,
other
man,
days.
you look sharp, dude. You look sharp.
I know.
I
do.
like the yellow one. I like that one the best. I think that's a cool hat.
Yeah,
Looking
it's
at-
probably my best one. I got that one at Hot Topic.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
What kind of was it? You said it was a one piece thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because everything in Hot Topic's got to be some pop culture related thing. So, I have a ton of stuff online and stuff that we have that came from Hot Topic because I used to go shop their clearance racks when they get really cheap and like I'd flip the stuff on Poshmark back when I used to do the store stuff a lot.
Wait,
yeah,
you would
there's-
buy it from Hot Topic and then resell it on Poshmark?
whenever it was super clearance, like you have to go like they have super clearance days. They have like weekends where like they're like whatever's on the clearance rack is like 75% off, so you can get stuff for like $1 here and there. It's like thrift store prices, and then you take that stuff and you flip it on Poshmark. Yeah. I like finding stuff that's out of season. I like something that's out of season because if it's out of season, it means out of print. So people can't just go to the store and buy it. Therefore, like you have kind of like a degree of exclusivity over it. You know, like it gives it some value.
A pair of out of print jeans.
I have tons of out of print jeans. I have tons of vintage jeans. I mean, really nice ones too. Like a lot of the vintage jeans I have are actually like ones that were actually made in the USA. And like, even though that sounds like that would be just like a buzzword type thing, stuff that's made in America, like jeans especially, are last so much longer or so much better made than ones you get like made overseas.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Big difference.
They really
big
are.
difference.
I pretty much every pair of jeans I wear except for like my Lucky brands, which are usually made in like I don't know where, but any of my made in USA jeans, man, like they have lasted me for like I'm talking like 10 years. You can wear those jeans and they'd still be wearable, you know.
I got an old.
I'm a Levi's guy myself.
I got an
And-
old
and-
pair.
I used to.
I got an old pair of overalls, and I've gone through at least 6 sets of the newer overalls, and my original ones are still in better shape.
Dang.
Yep, I know.
Wow.
Levi's are awesome. Like a good pair of 501s I have found over the years. I've found several, and I've sold them because they didn't fit me. But I found several pairs of weight because they haven't made Levi's hasn't made jeans in the USA since like 1993 or something like that. So you got to find like some like 2-decade old jeans. You find some 2-decade old 501s that were made in the US still, they will still look brand new. Those things do not age. Doesn't matter how much you wash them, doesn't matter how much you wear them. They do not age. They are amazing. It is like they're magical. I mean, like there's just like there's things about clothing that I learned getting into this whole like thing. Like I learned all about like how to take care of. That's the reason why I'm always doing laundry and stuff like that, because like I developed my own laundry techniques, my own laundry
Anybody
stuff like that.
anybody
Because, like,
ever buy a pair of jeans that were indigo?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
own tons
like
of
the
it.
brand indigo or the color indigo?
The
The color
color.
indigo. The indigo
Yeah. And
dyed
then
ones. I have tons of those.
And
I'm
you
wearing some right
take
now.
your
I'm
you
wearing
take
some
your
right now.
I have
pants
one,
off and your legs are purple.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
yeah.
haven't bought that level of quality of indigo.
Oh,
It means they were freshly dyed. Like usually they will pre-wash them before they sell them. But I have a few pair of raw denim jeans that like literally it's jeans that were like that they dye the fabric, they make the jeans, and they don't wash them. They don't do anything. They're raw, and they'll actually tell you to never wash them. They'll
these
say like
came from Kohl's.
oh yeah, Kohl's is not. Yeah, that's not good quality stuff. Yeah. But I have
And
several. I have a pair of like PRPS jeans. PRPS jeans are like raw denim, and they are stiff as hell when you start wearing them. They eventually mold to your body. They will mold to your shape over time, and like even if they fit kind of funny at first, after about 2 weeks, like you have like this perfect fitting pair of jeans that are like made for just you. They tailor themselves to you. They're amazing. But yeah,
Y'all are talking fashion right now, so this is a perfect time to go pee. I'll be right back.
all right, yeah. I know, like it's like the gay man on the stream. He's the one who doesn't want to talk about fashion. What the hell? Yeah.
well, pardon me a second.
What's up, Hank?
I was focusing on something else.
Yeah, I can tell you. That's why I was asking what's up. I was wondering what you're up to. Working on music or something.
I'm gonna make this really funny.
Okay. Well, it's the Chris show now. Hello, this is me, Chris. That's my show now. I'm taking over the show. Yeah, like why does anybody else want to jump on? We got Jack in the comments. We got Provo. Come on. I really enjoyed talking to you the other night on the last time on Machine Lies, man. Like when you were on when you're on there, I thought we had a really fun conversation there. That was really interesting. I'm glad to see you in the comments here. I don't know. I guess people jump in and off. I know people got lives and stuff like that. Having a life. Pussies. Speaking as someone who used to have a life outside of streaming myself, and I'm trying to establish that again. I'm trying to reestablish a life outside streaming, but including the streaming as part of it. I'm trying to integrate these two aspects of my being into one, to transcend the streamer IRL dynamic. There's well, yeah. I mean, like I know Chuck immediately dropped off, and then Pank left. So like the fashion conversation went nil immediately. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's over. So.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I had to deal with my son.
Oh, okay.
No worries. I mean, I wasn't upset about anything. I was just like I figured something must have something must have gotten got a phone call or something. I've had to do that.
Well, we've been going almost 2.5 hours. We can.
Shit, have we? This has been 2.5 hours. Wow, this stream flew by, man.
And I didn't get to do my AI.
Yeah, we didn't even get to do it.
Patience is not one of his virtues.
Do I explain all my actions? Okay.
That is true. I get that about the patience
Yep.
thing.
And
It's,
in order to keep a situation from arising, I stop what I'm doing and take care of it. Ugh.
Wait, how do I explain all my actions? Like, explain this to me. I just something I
oh
don't know
Lord, you
myself,
gave him
so.
a complex. It's Hank trolling. He's doing his
Uh-oh.
Black
Who's he
Witch magic.
trolling?
Oh, I thought you agreed with it, Jeff. So I was just genuinely asking. I just like to be self-aware of things. That's all. I don't have a complex about it. I just want to know what it is I'm doing when I don't notice it.
To me, it's not so much that you have a need to explain all of your actions as that you explain everything about everything in detail all the time, not just your actions, but everything. It's just part of your ADHD.
Yep.
Fair enough.
So I don't know what Hank's talking about in this particular context, but in general, you do explain a lot but about everything, not necessarily your actions in particular.
He's probably talking about like whenever you left and whenever Chuck left, I just started like just talking about like just whatever, and it's probably sounded like I was just like explaining things, but I wasn't really trying to. I'm just trying to fill the time.
No, I think he's just talking about in the conversation realm.
Okay.
But who cares?
And,
like,
right, I overlook it.
I
That's
doesn't.
that
I
person.
don't even think of it as a negative thing. I just didn't realize I did that. So I'm just curious. I don't. It doesn't strike me as being something.
It's hard for me to like determine what people's level of self-awareness is, because I always assume that people know what they're saying and doing at all times because they're closer to themselves than anyone else is. So I know, but Chuck, people tell me that all the time, that no, people don't know that kind of stuff. And it's just weird to me that they don't, or how they cannot.
I mean, I do consider myself a fairly self-aware person. I'm pretty aware of a lot of my neuroses and quirks and stuff like that. But there's always ones that people point. I've had plenty pointed out to me in the past that I was like, really, I did that? I didn't even know it. I mean, like, there's just things that you do that you don't notice just because like it's something that's just so integrated into you that you don't even consider it as something that's weird or different that other people would think that way. You just have.
We're back to the old blind spot.
Yeah, exactly. It's blind spots, and that's why I like it when people point out my blind spots. I want to know about them, because if I don't know about them,
I don't know what you see and don't see. I don't know what your blind spots are, because I don't know. Like, I know what I see from my end, but I don't know what you see and don't see of what I see. So I can't say which ones are blind or not, because I think you're seeing all of them.
No, like anytime you point out like any kind of a little criticism or anything of me. I mean, I don't really. That's the reason I don't really. I usually ask more questions about it. I don't get offended because I want to know more about what it is that you're seeing that I don't see, and therefore that allows me an opportunity for self-improvement.
Well, that was my next question. Are you able to change it anyway? Like, if it's so ingrained in you, or if it's part of your neurodivergence, how much of it can you change anyway? Like, why does it even matter?
I don't know.
You know?
I mean, and
like,
maybe
people tell me things about myself all the time, and I'm like, well, that's me. I'm not gonna be able to do anything about it. So
I evaluate it,
but it's not information I can do anything with.
Well, like, okay, you criticized me about like my tendency towards conjecture and things like that. I have taken that criticism to heart, and I'm trying harder and harder every time we come across those topics to try to be more evidence based and less conjecture and more just generally logical in the presentation of my ideas and stuff like that. And therefore it's a good thing. I think it's a way to improve myself and improve my ability to dialogue and talk to people. Now, if someone says something like like they think that they think that I probably smell bad or something like that, first of all, they can't smell me, and second of all, there's things that they could say to me that mean nothing to me, and I couldn't improve them even if I wanted to, probably. But
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead, Chuck.
No, I find myself getting mad for Jeff at times.
For me?
Yeah. Because like you, I think it's on the Machine Lies when Cecil's up there and you're up there. With your condition, you rock, correct?
Yeah, I don't even notice I do it. And I noticed Chris was
But-
sitting moving his knee,
Yeah.
wiggling his knee all day. So he stems
Yeah,
too.
But
which you don't
but-
you don't see that normally in one of my old thing, but now that I'm sitting in this chair, you can see it. Like,
but what I'm
that's why I
saying
think I
is,
get the wrong thing.
I get mad when I see people making fun of others that are inflicted with things. So
Yeah,
when
they
you're
don't-
up there with Cecil, he's constantly
Yeah.
doing this to
But
try
he
to.
makes himself look stupid when he does that. the whole
Yeah,
time. The joke's really on him. And I actually feel bad about Cecil because Cecil is so easy to bully. He brings out the bully in me, and I feel like I bully Cecil sometimes when I don't want to be that person, and I feel bad about it. I'm like,
I think-
Cecil's just
I
too
think-
easy of a
I
target.
think he
Why do
knows
I
what
fall
he's.
for it?
I think he knows what he's doing. To be honest with you,
Apparently, he's been online and been like doing a stream for a long time or something like that. I've heard before that he has roots going back to like 4chan days and stuff like that. I've heard, but I don't know much about him.
but he
I just
had
know he-
that
I
big.
just-
He had that big fallout with TBE and EBT and all them guys not too long ago. Because he used to be on their show all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It seems like everybody's had some kind of falling out with them.
Well,
I can't
it was
imagine.
old-
I can't imagine anyone ever want to interact with TBE. He seems like the most obnoxious personality. I don't get it.
My first encounter of him, yeah, we did. That's what started the whole drama with him and Machine. Because I went on Machine show as a guest, and he just kept attacking me for hours all night long, and then he kept attacking Machine for having me on the show, and then that's when he and
It's-
Machine started fighting. And
it's
he
the
brought in
booze.
Machine's wife and stuff from his personal life and everything.
It's the
Like,
booze.
he really drug it in the mud.
Yep.
Chris,
I think he's fighting the alcoholic in himself. So he's taking it out on others.
Yeah, that's because when he's not drinking, he's actually tolerable and has decent
Good things to say.
And he's actually, when he's in the chat comments, he's hilarious. I laugh all the time at his chat comments. But it's just on
But-
stream. I can't take all the he
Yeah.
just berates
Being a former drunk, I can relate to what he's doing.
And he's had some trauma in his life that if it's true, like, I definitely feel for the guy. Nobody should have had to go through what he goes through, but that still doesn't.
Excuse.
It doesn't, because I want to be able to have a conversation on these streams, and I can't do that when he's on.
He needs to go find a therapist. He needs to go find a therapist and stop trying to
Well,
like
the alcohol is the big thing. So
or
like,
rehab.
I'd
then.
say
I
start
don't
with the
know.
alcohol, and then from there work into the therapy.
Yep.
Because
That's-
therapy's not going to do anything if he's going to stay on the bottom.
And granted, you gotta want to quit for rehab to work, and I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never needed. I've quit tons of things.
I don't play
rehab.
savior. There's nothing you can do with toilet bowl. I don't have any illusions that there's anything I can do about toilet bowl other than manage my own interaction with it. Chris,
Yeah,
I had
that's
a
what-
question about your when you said like you're trying to be better about not being evidence based and all that. Are you not aware when you're speculating when it's based on evidence and when it's just talking out your head?
Sometimes I think I've been guilty of not being fully aware of it, and I have been, since you pointed it out, I have been taking a conscious effort to be more aware of it, and to be. I mean, I might slip up here and there, but I do try to take a conscious effort to notice what I'm saying, and also at the very least to caveat what I say with saying that this is purely based on my conjecture and my opinions and research that I've done that I have no evidence for. And like, therefore, like, you can just take it as like a fictional story if you want. I try to make sure I caveat the things to let people know that I'm not trying to like tell them that I have the ultimate truth in the universe or anything like that. That I am simply putting forth a story, a narrative that makes sense to me. And I can't say that I was, until you pointed that kind of thing out, I wasn't really as aware of it. So like, it's helped me.
When you say it makes sense to you, are you aware? Like, are you aware when it makes sense because there's evidence for it, or it makes sense because there's this internal consistency to it that sounds good? Are you aware of the differences between two when you're telling it?
Whenever I'm talking about
this
like,
is a thing that sounds good, or this is a thing because of something I know for a fact.
when it comes to things like, if I'm talking about religious or theology type topics, there's about as
That's
much
all
evidence.
sounds good because there's no evidence or fact for that. There never
Exactly,
will be.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. That's all narrative, right? Whenever it comes to other type stuff, I don't know. You'd have to throw in it, and I know you probably don't have an example in mind, but
Well,
I'd have
I
to
tell
have.
you what. Next time one comes up, I'll point it out. We can like
Okay.
break it
Yeah,
apart.
no,
Then
that would be fair. But I have been here in this last the last few weeks anyway. Since you mentioned that. I mean, you mentioned it a few times, but like I've been making a conscious effort to try to improve that part of my dialectic or whatever you want to call it, my dialogues and stuff like that. I don't want to be someone who's just spouting off conspiracy nonsense or something like that. I do like I do feel like a lot of times, like a lot of things and a lot of times I do have like these things that have been in my head for a long time from way back when like I read things or something that were maybe from sources that might have even been accurate or trustworthy, but now that I can't even find them on the internet, or I misremembered them, and so I've been trying to make sure I've been really careful about things that like I could have possibly misremembered and not even like, and might not have, it just could have gotten twisted in my memory over time, because sometimes you read something like 10 years ago and like one little piece of it might stick with you, and that one little piece kind of like grows like a seed into like this other idea
yeah,
that you don't even realize has transformed, over the years. And I've become more aware of that, and then the fact that like, maybe I'm not remembering things quite right, and I need to go back and find those original sources, the primary sources, before I start spouting off about it, or at very least make sure I'm caveating and making sure that I'm making it clear that I don't know this for sure. This is just something that I thought at one point, and it could be very easily just be bullshit. And I want to make sure that, because I don't want to be just disinfoing people or trying to spread like some sort of like just like some bullshit. I want to be as someone who at least is being, if at least I'm being honest and trying to be truthful to the best of my ability, without being like propagandized myself. I don't want to propagandize anyone else, and I don't want to propagandize myself with old information that might have been inaccurate in the first place. So yeah, I mean, but your criticism of me is something that, because it comes from someone I trust as you, and therefore whenever you give me like a criticism like that, or anybody does, like I take that to heart, and I think about it, and I try to see like, okay, I examine myself, and I look at things I've said and things I've done or whatever, and I think like I try to see like, yeah, okay, I can see the point there, I can see what he's saying, I can see his perspective, and I think that maybe there's something to that. So then I try to correct it as best I can. It's not an instant correction. It's not like I can just I just flip a switch and just like instantly like you just change that part of my mental processes right away, but I can work on it and try to notice it over time and try to like gradually become better. And that's
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 more
my
than
goal.
I'm able to do. So,
That's
I'm not telling it to you to change yourself. I'm just like
well,
sharing what
but
I'm observing. But so
my
make sure
goal,
if you're making these changes, it's because something you want to do, not because you think
right?
it's something
No,
I'm
yeah, like I'm
telling
saying,
you you need to work on.
if someone just told me like, if someone was like, I don't think you should use this word anymore. I think if I'm stupid, you use this word or something like that.
Don't tell me to
I'm not
talk.
gonna. I'm not gonna. I'm just saying. I'm using like just a stupid example. I'm just saying
Yeah, no,
there are
that would be my reaction.
there would be no like, yeah, I wouldn't take that to heart, and I wouldn't take that, but an honest, like sort of like real, like genuine criticism like that, like what you said, was something that actually like I actually gave thought about, because like you're a thoughtful person, you put thought into these things, and I also respect you, and I respect your opinion, and like I could have come to the conclusion that like I thought it was bullshit, and I decided to just go, but instead I came to the opposite conclusion. I'm always, like I said, I've said this before, like my goal in life in general is to always try to be better than the day before, in some way. I try to be a better parent,
Ooh,
a
Lord,
better
that's
streamer.
ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, in small ways. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm not saying I expect huge leaps, but like to be constantly progressing myself, not to be a progressive, but to progress myself forward in a way where I feel like I am growing as a person. I try to make myself, like I try to improve in some small way every day, and I don't succeed in that every time. There are days that I definitely don't improve anything, but overall, like that's my goal. That's what I shoot for. I shoot for trying to learn more about myself and about the world, and to try to expand and integrate better into myself, like the aspects of myself that either I don't like or I do like, and try to make sure that like I know myself better. I see that as I guess a philosophical goal or endpoint or something like for my life. It's like that's my personal internal goal for myself, and so I appreciate criticism. It's the same way I used to, like when I was younger, like when I'd write something and someone would read it and like give me like they'd be like give me some like really like pithy kind of criticism or something. I used to hate that kind of stuff, and I still don't like it whenever someone criticizes something but has nothing constructive to say about it. I still think that that's really bullshit. Like if you took the time to read it, you could at least like give me more than just like I don't like it or I do. But at the same time, if they give me like a lot of negative criticism, they give me a lot of negative feedback on something I wrote or something I did, I take that to heart and I really look at it. I don't always agree with all the criticism. Sometimes I look at what something they say and they're like, well, no, there's a reason for that they're not understanding. But then a lot of times I do see their criticism and I incorporate it and I improve that script. And usually when I incorporate criticism I get for a script or for a piece I work on, whenever I incorporate that, it always makes it better. I've never once incorporating in honest critical feedback into a work I've worked on and actually incorporated it and it not improve the piece. It's always been like that.
Speaking of, when are we doing your script?
We just got to work out the dates with everybody. It seems like everybody's always so scattered. Like, I mean, like, Jack was here a minute ago and he's gone. I don't know. Like we got
how many people?
I think we got enough. I don't think we just need
4 guys and then there's some girl parts and some of the guys can
and Lindsay can handle most of the girl parts and somewhere in time can handle some of them, I'm sure. She said she'd do it.
Chris wrote a script that he wants to read through live on stream one day. So if anybody, StreamYard allows up to 10 people, I think. So if we can get
very first
6, 7 people, we want to do this script read through. So if you want to be a part of that, let us know. And we'll.
So I just want to make sure it's clear that even though I'm not embarrassed of the script. I am quite proud of what it became over the years. But it is the very first screenplay I ever wrote, and it is very much based on it's much more based on who I was 10, 15 years ago than who I am now. It is very very much from a younger Chris, and yet and some of the comedy in it might be a little silly for Jeff's taste perhaps, and maybe a little silly for other people too. But it has a lot of heart to it, I think, and I think it has a lot of I think it's got some, and it's like this. It's so far. The one thing I noticed rereading it myself was it's so far removed from our current conversational climate of like there's no politics in this thing. There's no political anything. This is entirely about characters it's basically a romantic comedy. I called it an anti-romantic comedy back whenever I wrote it, but I mean it's essentially a romantic comedy. But it's definitely there's just some things I think are original that I haven't seen in movies since then. I think that it balances a line that I didn't even realize I pulled off back then, and I'm really proud of it. But I do want to temper the expectations that this is a script from a very young. I wrote this when I was 19 originally, and now I'm 42. So this is a long, and it's been revised. It was revised several times between 19 and 42, but I have not revised it a bit in 10 years. So it will be interesting to see how people react to it, I think, and I'm willing to take the lashing that I might get. This might get critically torn to shreds. So like, and I'm perfectly comfortable with that. So I just want to put that out there, just like say like, hey, I don't even need you to go gentle on it. I just want you to understand the context in which it was written. That's all.
As long as it's not a Garth Brooks / Chris Gaines type thing.
What a weird thing to say. I had this. I was talking a few minutes back on Discord that I had this sudden like revelation while I was watching this weird documentary on YouTube that Chris Gaines invented emo. Think about it.
Is that his character? Garth Brooks?
Yeah, that was the character.
Yeah.
Think about the traditional emo boy that came out like years later, and think about like the very first time you were saw him that looked like that. That's Chris Gaines. Garth Brooks invented emo. Aesthetically speaking. So
yeah,
I think
it was strange.
Garth was a very influential person in ways that he didn't even intend to be. So, and I still think Thunder Rolls is a pretty good song.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Other than that, I don't really give a shit about Garth Brooks, but I
just
can't. He
saw
didn't believe
Ricky Break Your Heart.
he was that He Break Your Heart wasn't him. That was
Oh,
Billy Ray
that's not
Cyrus,
even
right?
Garth Brooks. Then I don't know any Garth Brooks. Oh, that was what's his face?
It's Billy Ray Cyrus, Miley Cyrus's dad.
Yeah.
Dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Achy
love
Breaky
that.
Heart.
You probably heard Thunder Rolls. It was a huge hit. It was probably his second
I
biggest.
probably
His big-
did because where I come from, that's all people play is country music. But I probably didn't know.
And
it was
you-
Oh
Garth
man,
and you
he's had
heard
a bunch of hits.
Friends in Low Places. Friends in Low Places is a song.
That's
that I
the
think
one I'm
everyone-
thinking of. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that one.
I've got friends in low
In low
places. Yeah.
places.
Boy,
Yep.
do we ever.
And I will say like the Friends in Low Places isn't a terrible song. It's just not. I've
That could be
never
the
been a
theme
fan.
song for the whole panel.
It's a
group.
honky tonk drinking song.
Yeah.
Is all
I've
it
never-
Yeah,
is.
they used to play at the bar.
I've never been a huge fan of like pop country. I like old.
No,
old, more,
I don't
more
like
blues and
pop.
What is
the
pop
new
country?
stuff.
What's the song that's considered pop country?
just about anything that came from the 80s and on, like that, and the consider country music is like pop country. I consider
okay.
I consider country music to be like there's some alt country that's come out since then that I would consider
Oh, I
pop.
love the old
like-
country, like Hank Williams and Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
And that, yeah,
and,
I love
and
old
Johnny
Well-
Cash, man. Johnny Cash is the man. Always
Randy
will be.
Travis.
Yeah, Randy Travis.
I was trying to think of the last George Strait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
him,
remember him. Amarillo by Morning.
But Alan Shepard. But
You know,
most of them,
they weren't
Conway
country, but
Twitty.
I did like Nickel Creek, even though they're more bluegrass. But I did like them; they were all right. And there's this band called Lucero that does kind of old school like bluesy country stuff. That they're really good. And I myself had an alt country band at one point. So that's as much as I don't care for most country music and pop country music. I actually did an alt country band at one point too. So I mean, everybody's but it was more influenced by like old like Hank Williams and stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah, more bluesy, more roots rocky kind of thing. But it didn't last very long. Anyway, I guess so. Yeah, I guess we've gone almost 3 hours now. I guess it seems like
Wow.
everything's sort of wound down. So I guess
Yeah. I gotta go
I-
cook supper for the family.
yeah, I got the same thing as I was saying. I know my wife just got up and she's probably hungry, so I probably got to go feed the beast here real fast. She's not a beast. I'm just
Yeah,
joking.
got the son with autism and the wife with Parkinson's. I got my hands full.
Oh,
Oh
Damn,
my
man,
god,
I'm sorry to hear that.
You're
I'm
kind of
sorry
a
to hear that.
caretaker there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well-
I do understand that. I have similar medical things with my family, so I understand. It's
And
oh,
I
hey,
went through
Cascadian, you came in right at the end. What the hell?
I
Yeah,
went
you
through
show-
10 back surgeries and 1 neck surgery.
Dang, it sounds like you're doing good work. Though.
Well, I just try to do the next right thing. That's all I can do.
Yeah, that's all you
Well-
can do, man. That's what I mean. I deal with this chronic vertigo thing, and like I know it's all you can do is just like one day at a time, try to figure out
Yep, you do the best
how-
you can.
Let's do the best you can, yeah. You do the best you can.
Sometimes it might not be good enough, but it is what it is.
Yep. I identify with that statement wholeheartedly. I really do.
Yep,
I have all the empathy in the world for you on that.
because
So,
nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
yeah, nobody's
that I've
life.
found.
Yeah, nobody's life has got it all figured out.
We
And
all
if it
put
looks
our
like-
drawers on one leg at a time, one day at a time.
And if they look like their life is perfect, then they're probably a serial killer. So, I mean, seriously, like anybody you ever hear about like they get some serial killer like the Sarahheim was like they had the perfect life. No one suspected a thing about them. It's always like the most like the guy with like the suburban family, and he's got and it looks like everything's all together, and like the person that has like the perfect life is always the guy who's doing something really fucked up and dark in the background. So
That's true.
yeah, I'm much more comfortable with freaks and weirdos like myself. So you just came back from playing basketball and you have to make dinner. Well, we're wrapping
Everybody's
up there,
making
man.
dinner. Well, we should break and let people go make dinner, and we'll be
Yeah.
here tomorrow, same time.
What you got going on tonight, Jeff? What's you got a
This is my last thing. I'm free the rest of the day.
okay? So yeah, because Survivor's over and stuff like that. So
Well, we could do
That's
another
fine.
one. We could start another one.
If we can find that second season, that one you said was so good.
I wanted to ask you about that. Let's talk on Discord because you sent me that link to download, but I have some questions first.
Yeah, no, that each file is like an uncompressed 13 gigabyte file. They're massive. I don't know.
Let's
I don't
talk
even
about on Discord because I
remember
didn't want to download any yet, but we can definitely find something. So just message me when you're ready, I guess.
Yeah, I'll message you.
Okay.
I'll be around. And Chuck, once again, it's been a pleasure having you on the
absolute
show.
Pleasure.
I really hope you
Thanks
come back.
for having me up. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for
come back. Come back. Seriously,
anytime. You're welcome.
Anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are growing on me.
Oh, we're growing on you, just like mold. Yeah.
All right, fellas. Later.
All right. Later.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye. Good night.
All right. See y'all tomorrow.
And with that, let's hit the intro music. Hit the outro music, and let's close it out.
Yeah, let me find which one it is. Here it is. Okay, until tomorrow, we'll be back. 2 p.m. Central.